that speech alive. Shoot, little order, I don't know, I'm just a vibe. All white toast. Morning, wakey, wakey. Hello guys, good morning. Thank you for joining. If you guys are logging in, all that good stuff. How's everybody doing? All right. Let's see. Sorry, I'm always late, but you know what? My wife said that time is just early. How about that? Catch me outside. Good morning, monsieur. Good morning. Alright, so you guys saw my video this morning. I had an interesting start of the day, right? I got a flat tire. It's a brand new day. Got a flat tire, but it's okay. I don't know, I like to make little songs, and then TikTok kind of like added that one song, so it sounds like it kind of goes with my made up lyrics. But hello, Eli. But today if you've been here, if you've been watching, that's cool, and if you haven't, that's also cool, because it's alright. Because you don't need to have seen the other lives to kind of like get a grip or get a little bit of insight of what we're gonna talk about today, right? And if you've been here for the other lives, well, I just want to say thank you, because the fact that you're still here means that you're catching on to something, or that something caught your eye, right? And that's what it's about, honestly. That's why I do this, because I want you guys to feel comfortable. I want you guys to embrace who you are and stop fucking pretending, because you know what? I don't like fake people, and if I find you and I see that you're being fake, I'm gonna call you out. And like always, I have a mess, because I got too much going on in my mind to be worried about being organized. But I know where everything is. Best believe. Don't be moving it, because I won't find it. So yeah, it means that you're pretty much paying attention. You know what's going on. You feel it. You feel it in your bones, like Tian and Sarah. And I just want to reframe or go back to the lives that I've been doing this week. The fact that you've been watching, the fact that you've been logging on whenever I go online, and the fact that you're continuing to be intrigued about what this curly-haired person has to say. The devil's curls. No, I'm kidding. And we did something the last 2 days that most people never do in a lifetime, right? And we named the lie. We were able to see the belief that we were handed before we were old enough to even question it, right? We had to be ready before we could begin. So we had to name the lies. And I'm always gonna hype you guys up, okay? So, but let me put this down a little bit. If it's up, then it's up. So today what we're gonna do is, not only did we name the lie, but we also we were able to see the cost, right? How much it's costing us, the compounding invisible toll that comfort takes on us, right? And where it keeps us. And I left you guys with a question, and I hope you guys did think about it and did take it into consideration, which will hurt more, the discomfort of trying or the comfort of never trying at all? And the truth is, well, there is no truth. Tonight we're going to answer that, right? Today we're going to answer that. And not in a motivational way, not in a feel-good way, in a real, permanent, like, raw way. You know, the way that you need to hear it, the truth. And in a way that's permanent, in a way that shifts something inside of you. And once we're done talking, that you have that seed that just wants to be watered, right? And if you're just slugging on, remember to follow, like, share. Share it to somebody that you know is going through a hard time. Maybe they can take something from this. And if you're just this is your first time watching one of my lives, this is Miracle Sun, and today we're gonna move forward, right? Before I get into it, I want to tell you a story, and I want to tell you something that's really important, because I need to say something first, right? Most people spend their entire lives waiting for a moment that's significant enough to finally show up, or to finally get up and move, right? They were waiting for the right person, the right sign, maybe the right season, maybe the right version of themselves to finally show up. But here's what I know after everything that we've talked about, that there is no right version. There's no version of that right moment that feels the way that you think it's going to feel, because sometimes you have signs and you feel the pull, but you mistake it with anxiety, or you mistake it with something else, right? Thank you guys for joining. If you guys are just logging on, like, follow, share. And people who really build something real, they didn't feel ready when they started. If you think about it, I wasn't ready when I started doing this shit. Like, I felt hella afraid. I felt obviously seen. I felt judged. And I felt uncertain. And that's how most people feel when they're about to take a big step, right? Maybe it's a small step in somebody else's eyes, but it was a big step for me to come on screen and share you my personal stuff, you know? But they felt like they were probably, and I felt this too, I probably felt like, who's gonna fucking listen to me? Who's gonna believe in anything that I have to say? I don't even look 36. I mean, that's totally... Today I went to the gas station and they were like, can I see your ID? And then I was like, hell yeah, you can see my ID. How old do you think I am? They were like, I don't know, 19? I was like, no ma'am, I'm 36. She looked at me like, are you in the Epstein files? Do you eat babies? I do not. I just started, I mean, there was a time that I looked old, but I started letting go of things, you know? And when I started having the vision of when I even started Miracle Sun as a company, like, I felt like I was not going to be believed. I felt uncertain. I felt scared. I felt, hello guys, thank you for joining. I felt like I was probably not the right person to even take on this big, like, responsibility, right? But you know what? I did it anyway. Not because I wasn't scared anymore. Every day that I go on here, every day that I'm going to think about what I'm going to talk about, I'm scared as fuck. Because we're all scared of negativity, right? But you know why I continue to do this? Because I found something bigger than fear. I love when you guys interact. Let's put it that way. I love when you guys are able to feel comfortable enough or safe enough to share your version or what you're having trouble with. Or even if it's in a private message, the fact that you reach out or you felt the urge to reach out tells me that I am doing what I really meant, or the purpose of my project is showing its, like, fruits of its growth, you know? I mean, there's days that I had just my wife, watching, and little by little, people that I never thought would reach out started reaching out. People that probably never even thought that they would feel safe to say their story or to share anything with a complete stranger like me felt comfortable enough to do it. And that's my purpose. Like, I want you guys to be comfortable in being yourselves, because that's all that matters. None of the material shit, none of anything that's going on anywhere. As long as you're good with yourself, everything around you is going to flow. And I know that you hear that a lot, but I'm walking through it with you guys. I am showing you my worst times, my best times, my most embarrassing moments. Because honestly, I already dealt it. I already sat with them. I already cried. I already felt embarrassed. And now I just laugh about it, because I'm like, how could I have been so dumb and thought that I wasn't going to get through that part? And I'm not calling you guys dumb or anything like that, but no, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. But I felt a little silly because I knew that there was something bigger for me. I know there's something bigger, and maybe I haven't reached it yet, but for me, that one or two people that are reaching out, or even people that I've known my whole life and I barely have I'm finally having a conversation for the first time with, that means that is abundance for me. That makes me a millionaire, in all honesty. And that's how I feel, because I know that I changed somebody's perspective, or at least I planted that seed of curiosity. And tonight I'm going to help you find that thing for yourself. I'm going to help you find that one thing that is meant just for you and only you, in your life, in your circumstances. And because you know what, there's no blueprint. My blueprint, my downfalls, my achievements, my failures are not going to be the same as yours. And you're probably not going to take them the way that I'm taking them, because we're two different minds, two different worlds. And even though we go through the same pain, the level of pain is felt differently. We all have different pain tolerance levels. So I'm going to be talking about something very specific, not inspirational, like I said. It's a real framework of like the first step that you need to take, okay? So I really hope you guys stay and really take something from this, because all I want for you guys is to be happy, and to be happy in an authentic way, to not be pretending to be something you're not. Because you know what? The people that are conscious, the people that are aware, are going to see right through you. And that mask that you're wearing is going to fall when you least expect it. So why not take it off at your own time, right? So I want to tell you about the moment that I decided to move, right? Or that I decided to take a step into this. I never felt ready, like I said. And the stars didn't align for me. And someone didn't really believe in me in order to push me to move forward. There's little situations that inspired me to do so. But the moment that I moved happened when I was the most unready, probably. The most I've ever been in my life. I decided to build a company without having any clients, without having any social media growth. I didn't even know. I knew the backgrounds of it, but doing it myself was a different story. I had a job at the time, but I showed up every day to pay bills, hardly pay bills. And then when I would show up, I was late. So I wasn't 100% there. It was an amazing job. It was a very laid back job. And I feel like it was too laid back that it made me get too comfortable. And there was still a part of me that knew that there was something more, but I wouldn't dare to touch it because I was too busy being a grown-up, right? I had a name, Miracle Sun LLC, because Miracle Sun is my favorite song from Anthony Green. And whenever I love playing guitar, and I strayed away from it for years, because anytime I played guitar, I couldn't sing. I used to be able to sing and play, but then I couldn't align myself with the music. And guys, go ahead and help me reach my goal. If you guys are just logging on, thank you for joining. We're going to be talking about what you need to do to get yourself going, okay? Because that little seed that you have, or that little pressure in your chest, it's not gastritis, it's not heartburn, it's not a fart, it's not air. That's your intuition telling you to get up and move. And I'm gonna be the realist that I can be with you guys. And I think that I have to use myself as an example because we're too sensitive sometimes, and I am too blunt. Let's put it that way. And it comes off as being disrespectful sometimes. But by all means, I do not mean that. I'm just not that very social. I'm not that social at times. No, I'm just too straightforward. Yeah, thank you, Max. Like, I'm honestly too straightforward, and sometimes people don't like that because it makes them see how far behind they are. And I completely understand that, so I have to watch myself sometimes. Um, but you know what, guys? I was at a job that was hardly paying my bills. I had a name. I didn't have any customers. I didn't have any money to spare. There was no blueprint, no investors, no guarantees. There's just the name and myself. I started off as wanting to do a marketing company because I saw how Yuma, Arizona, is very old school, right? I didn't realize how old school we were, but I'll get into that right now. And there's so much. I mean, now they're catching on, but it took almost a year or two for them to catch on, and it was something that I wanted to teach. But I think my mistake is that I always want to do things without charging sometimes, because I've always thought, like, well, if I can teach somebody, why am I going to stress myself and like charging? If somebody, like, I've been in a situation when I can't afford it, but I really want to learn. So I would sell myself short, I guess. But I'm trying to work on that. I'm still not there, but I don't know. I'm happy, I guess. Um, and I remember at that time I had a job. Right now I don't have a job. I remember sitting with it all, and the weight of it was like real, honest, and it was like legit. Like, the reason why this was not the right time, right? And the financial reality, right? This time constraints. Because if I'm working 40 hours a week or whatever hours a week, well, then I only have certain time of the day to do everything else, right? I'm like the main provider. And the fact that nobody was asking what I hadn't built yet. Nobody was asking for what I hadn't built yet. It was like the voice in the back of my head that was like, who do you think you are to even come into this world of like trying to teach people how to empower themselves? Who else? Everybody else and their mama is doing this, right? But then I thought to myself, well, if it's not now, then when? Yes, you're right. Everybody else and their mama is doing it, but I'm not reading a fucking book. I didn't go to therapy. I tried it, and I don't judge people that go to therapy. Therapy works for people that have focus, but it doesn't always work for us neurodivergent people, because we're too everywhere. Our mind goes too fast. And I started to use the tools that I had. I started to chat with Claude AI. I started to chat with Gemini to do self-analysis of myself, of situations before I reacted. And that allowed me to kind of pause myself, to train myself to pause and think before I act, which was something that I didn't do before because I'm very impulsive. And when I would tell people, like, you know what? Well, the first thing that I noticed was I was being happy, but everybody around me was miserable. And I noticed that whenever I was trying to build something that helped people, everybody always wanted to put a price on it. Even when I was doing work where I had to sell in order to make money, I would still sell things short because I still cared about the person. Because I cared too much sometimes that I could make more money, but I wouldn't. Because my morals were first. My integrity was there first. Because I would see my mom and the person that I was helping, or my grandpa, or whatever the fuck. And I would think, like, nobody thinks like this? Like, why? And mind you, I'm a very selfish person. Like, if you knew me 15 years ago, you wouldn't have believed that I'm even doing this. I don't even believe that I'm doing this because I'm not somebody to talk about God. I was so uncomfortable with those conversations. I didn't want to be by myself at all because that means I had to listen to myself. And that was a scary thing because I could be very, like, I can undermine myself a lot. And I can make myself feel small in a heartbeat. I think that one of the things that I have is that I have suppressed rage. There's no other way to put it. That because I always was incapable of fighting physically, I had, hello Layla, thank you for joining, guys. Like, follow, share. Because I always liked to be the one with the last word, and because I was always the smallest, I couldn't always beat people up, right? Now, don't get me wrong, whenever you have somebody blinded and enraged, they can do a lot of damage. Now, I never wanted to get to that point, but I figured, you know what? If I'm gonna be defending myself, I gotta fucking be able to do it with words, if anything, you know? And I can tear a person up without even screaming. And it's not a thing that I'm proud of. I thought I was a narcissist. For the longest time I did, but then I realized that it was an issue within myself that had nothing to do with people. And that's really what it is. Like, all the things that make us uncomfortable are just things that we haven't accepted within ourselves. Because, think about it. The first time I noticed that I was being targeted was at work. When I was as an advisor, like, well, we are actually, yes, we are. We learn from our environments. Like, my family was very, you suck it up and you're not gonna disturb the peace. And that's how a lot of Hispanic cultures are. So at work, I was like I was brown nosing everybody. Indoctrinated. Well, yes, it's something that's like embedded in you. That is like forced upon you. You don't have an option. You didn't even have a chance to question it. And we were actually talking about that. I was talking about that a couple of days ago. In my mind, I always stood for fairness, right? We all worked based on commission, so I didn't make money if somebody didn't come in. At first, I hated my job, and I was like, I'm making money, a living out of this. And I can make a pretty good living out of this. Why am I mad for people coming? Let them come. And then I started getting bothered by the technicians complaining about oil changes. I'm like, bro, that's what you were hired for. That's what you applied for. Why are you complaining about the hourly job that you came in here knowing that you had to perform? That blows my mind. And then I saw how my coworkers complained about the environment, because it's a very hostile environment. It's a very high tension. And we were noticing that as there was a company shift or change, the value of us as employees was no longer there. We always got the best praise because we were the best service department in town. And people would compare us all left and right. My boss would answer phone calls at 10 o'clock at night. She's the type of service manager that you only see in movies. But we're all very toxic with each other. I always wanted to be fair. If I would remember people's faces or their names, and I knew whose customer was whose, what was going on with what, and I knew that if my coworker answered that phone call, that's his call. I'm not going to take it. But then I would get my coworkers trying to swipe away stuff from me, you know? And I was like, okay, well, let's play fair, guys. So I would take tabs because, you know what? The one thing that I hate is when people make me question my truth. And I was very vulnerable to that because I would remember things specifically. I could remember the time and date. And then because the people around me couldn't be wrong, or they couldn't accept the fact that they did me wrong, knowing when they had no reason to, because I always played fair and square with them, they would deny it and deny it and deny it. So many rules changed because me and one advisor would get in arguments. And it was only when he was uncomfortable that the rules would change. And I became a problem because I didn't take it anymore. So I started speaking up, right? And that was probably the worst year of my life because my coworkers were upset about the schedule, let's say, for example, or the adding of another advisor, for example. And they would sit there with me and be like, yeah, we're going to tell you. And I'm like, all right, guys, I'll start the conversation because I know you guys ain't going to do shit. But you guys better back me up. I crossed my heart. Like, it never failed. Even the best friend I had stayed quiet when it came to speaking up. Shit, the day that I decided to leave, I was told that if I couldn't handle the anxiety, that the door was there. Mind you, I was months. Yes, I can. I was like months away. That's hilarious. I was like months away from having 10 years there. But it's crazy because when I left, that didn't matter at all. It didn't matter the time that I had been there. It didn't matter, like, nothing mattered. Because you know what? I was just making the money, you know? That's all I was good for the money I was making. And please don't look at my mess. This is my room, but apparently it's being used for laundry. That needs to be folded. I can make it glow, but I don't have a square around here. One of those charging squares? I think I have. That was actually a gift from my sister-in-law for Christmas. It's pretty cool. I'll ask my wife for the little thing. But yeah, when it came to it, they all just bailed on me, and I would be the complainer, the one who couldn't play by the rules. I was like, I'm not a complainer. I'm just not gonna sit here when you're messing with my check, you know? Long story short, I had to leave that place. I was fortunate enough that a week after I got told that if my anxiety couldn't handle it, literally the day before I went back from vacation, I got offered another job to start 2 weeks later. So I was like, I came back from vacation and I was like, my anxiety can no longer handle this. And I turned in my resignation. That was fucking bad. I put in my 2 weeks notice, and I made sure that I stated there that my anxiety could no longer handle it. And then it was questioned afterwards and was like, was it based on this comment? And I said, yes, it was. It was based on that comment. And it's crazy because after the fact, I mentioned my situation to an ex-coworker, and then I was told, well, why are you talking smack? I was like, I'm just saying things how they were. I'm not adding anything. I'm not saying any names. Like, if they know the people, they know the people. If they don't, then that's cool. But I'm not adding or taking. I know I wasn't a great coworker too. Like, I'm fucking annoying. I can't stand myself sometimes. So, and I can honestly say that because at some point I was just so angry at the fact that they couldn't play fair. I used to thrive on the fact that I would annoy my coworker. So in the morning, I would wake up and say, how can I fuck this guy's life today? That was the purpose for me to go to work. I made it my purpose, and I enjoyed every second of it. So I can be nice, but I'm not nice. Don't fuck with me. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, so I started to do this, right? And it's crazy because the people I would tell, I wanted to change. I started with marketing, and then with my experience in the workplace, because I went to another environment that was really cozy and stuff, and then it turned out that it wasn't cozy. I'm not that fine. Stop laughing. I mean, it made you watch, so maybe. I don't know. I really don't care. I think I'm fine, and I think that's more than enough. I got married already, so I don't gotta worry about looking good for anybody. You fine, don't listen to the haters. Now you're just lean looking. Okay. I guess haters gonna hate. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I look like Chicken Little, to be honest. I make fun of myself all the time. I got big ears that look like puppy ears. I got a big nose. I got a stupid laugh. Let me see what what nonsense here. But by all means, you go ahead and comment, baby. You comment away. That's more interactions for me. And go ahead and do whatever you gotta do, boo boo. I'm all for it. Be my example. So I figured, you know what? If there's something that I could do, is that I could bring awareness on how much Yuma is missing out on not investing or giving a thanks to their employees, because I used to make more than 6 figures a year. I, for a whole year, was able to surpass in sales the senior advisor that had been there 6 years ahead of me. And even to this day that I haven't worked at Nissan, I haven't worked there for over a year, I still get customers that call me and ask me for my opinion. So, or even just to ask me how I'm doing. I made great friendships there. And why? Because I took the time, because I listened, because I treated them like if it was my aunt or uncle, my mom, or if it was even myself. And I didn't care about the environment itself. I was there to do a job. We make a mistake when we interact and we start to treat people like they're our family, because when you treat them like family, they're going to have that permission to disrespect you the same way that your family does. Thank you. I'll be on later at 7, so I'll see you later. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll have that thing on for you. I appreciate you. And everybody was like, well, who's going to invest in organizational environment? And you know what? That's one of the biggest types of businesses that is growing right now, because businesses are realizing that people need to find fucking purpose in their job life and their work life in order to feel content with their life. And people end up leaving a job regardless of the pay because it's not worth their mental health. So, with one step in the direction that I knew that I was going to go, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I spent a whole year preparing myself and another year saying I'm going to do it tomorrow. And it was imperfect. It was mistakes. It was terrifying steps. I took one step a month ago and then I kind of stopped because I wanted to focus myself on this. And when I went out there and I started talking to people, I was like, shit, a lot of people are interested in what I have to say. Like, this is the only reason, or the only thing that I'm a sheep. The only thing that's required of me was to take that first step, right? And if a specific memory comes up with that being said, like, I don't know, a conversation you had in the past, maybe you just had, or you were just thinking about something, I don't know. Say it out loud. You don't have to even like write it in the comments. Say it out loud, because the detail of what makes it vague is that the inspiration fades, right? My supreme gay, how are you feeling today? And the truth stays. Inspiration fades and the truth stays. I feel like that all the time. I already said I'm a she. I'm a girl. I was born a girl, always be a girl. I'm gonna be a girl. And if you think I'm a boy, I'm gonna be the hottest boy ever. From the Dragon Prince, I look like everybody. I'm like your typical lesbian at one point. I'm like your typical Chicken Little kid. I look like, I don't know. But Mark Anthony kids. That's hilarious. Yeah, I look like one of Mark Anthony's kids. That'd be cool. I want their life in a sense. Tell Jennifer Lopez to calm her titties. Oh no, not at all. I don't have the blonde hair. I have tiny eyes. My lips are not that big. My teeth are not that big either. Thank you. I appreciate it. There was another person that said that I was, no, she does not. There was somebody told me earlier that I was ugly. I was like, okay. Oh no. I appreciate the compliments, guys. Whether it was a compliment or not, I still appreciate it because made you look. But what I want to bring to this, like what I thought about bringing into this world was because, like maybe the things that I would tell people, oh yeah, they're always cheating. I think that was one of the reasons why I stalled a lot, because I was scared of that. But I realized that a lot of people were just angry at the fact that I was content with myself and they weren't. So usually that's how it is when people have something they hate on you. Like when people hate you, it's not that you're a bad person. They're just jealous of something that you have and they don't. And it's always going to be like that. There's always, think about it. When you don't like somebody, it's because, oh, they did this. I appreciate it. It's my music room. I sleep in another room. Oh yeah, I got that on Etsy. It's like a little replica thingy. You can actually put it on. But I can't ride my bike in it because it's not safe. And it smells like a lot of chemicals. I should probably not put it on because it makes me dizzy afterwards. But you can see through it. So the people I was telling about my goals didn't see it as something achievable. I could tell in their face and their vibe that they just thought I was crazy. They were like, well, what are you going to do in the meantime while you open that company? I was like, well, my goal is to make people aware, to be the middleman between the company and the employee, because here in Yuma, everybody's violating labor laws left and right, and people just live with it. And I'm tired of that. So I figured I was going to start helping people out. I didn't even put a price to it because I thought, well, I always think to myself, whatever I do is going to come back, in whatever way. I don't need to get it back from that person. And it always does. And trust in yourself. Because when we were little, we were taught to not trust in our decisions, to always doubt, second guess ourselves, because we were told to shut up. We were told that we were wrong. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's weird. When I was at the courthouse, a lot of people used to tell me about like their whole stories, and we had just met. And that was probably one of my favorite things there. Because when you go to the courthouse, you're already going scared. The fucking security is already treating you like shit. And the last thing that you can do is go up to a clerk and have the clerk tell you, oh, that's legal advice. No. I was going to be like, all right, you know what? We got this, boo-boo. I think that's another reason why I didn't fit there, because I was too chill. I was like, what are we doing today? Who are we divorcing? And then when they get married, I'd be like, divorces are expensive. Are you sure? Because this is easy to be done. I don't mind me. Oh, I don't mind. I'm Mexican. I'm a Mexican. I'm not a Mexicant. I'm from Sonora. Puro sonorense. Hablo español también. Bueno, español es mi primer lenguaje, but Spanish is my first language. I didn't learn English until I was like maybe 4 or 5. I was pro se. You were pro se as in like you do legal work? Oh, but too pricey and I feel get stretched out by lawyers. You know what? Hey, Supreme. How are you feeling, love? You know what? I gotta say that working at the courthouse, I realized how much document preparers overcharge their customers. How much the Hispanic culture screws the Hispanic culture over. How much lawyers, how easy a process is and how easy it can be, and how lawyers make it longer than it is, not necessarily because it's complicated, but because they have too much shit on their table. Aw, boo-boo, I hope you feel better. Gotta drink some vitamin D. I know you're getting a lot of D, but you gotta drink the pills too, And I hated it. Exactly. Like, everything's it's a new motion, but a lot of people don't do things. All I'm gonna say, guys, is if you guys need to get child support from your baby daddy and you did it through the divorce and he's not paying you, he's not gonna pay you. He's not gonna go to jail. Go to the Department of Economic Security in your state and file for child support along with your divorce. or file for the child support part of it. They'll even pay for like your fucking, if you qualify, obviously, they'll even pay for like your DNA test. But you take them to the Department of Economic Security, and you know what happens when they don't pay? If they get paid by cash to avoid that? Because if you do the divorce, and this is not legal advice, I'm just saying how the process works. But if you do a divorce, and this is going to be on the instructions, if you do a divorce and you have children and you want child support, or if you want, spousal support, whatever, and you give up your life as a, oh, hell yeah. And if you guys like want to get paid for that, right? There's a lot of females that aren't getting paid from their baby daddies, or I saw a lot of guys that didn't get paid from their baby mamas. And they continue to file motions, continue to pay the fee to reopen the case. You know what, boo-boo? If you go to the Department of State and they refuse, like, you don't have to tell them who the employer is, because if you go through the court, you have to go and provide information of who the employer is, accurate information, so that they can deduct it from the check. But if you go to the Department of Economic Security, they automatically get it the second they see that social security number is getting money. Okay? And you know what happens if they don't pay and they start getting paid by cash? They can't even, at some point, they won't be able to renew their license. They won't be able to take out a passport. They won't be able to renew their passport. They won't be able to get any type of permits because it's going to come out. And through the DS, you can get, if I'm not mistaken, they do hold you at the border. I'm not quite sure about that side. But if you want to get paid from your baby daddy, definitely take it to the Department of Economic Security, because you ain't got to be running around for him, finding out where he works at. You ain't got to communicate with them at all. Shit, you don't even have to go to court. They'll go for you. Now, if you want to make any changes to the visitation, then you do have to go to the court and file a motion, because they don't do shit for that. They only deal with the monetary side of it. And it'll accumulate. It'll keep accumulating until, like, when DS is involved, they'll you'll have to set a motion to stop it. But that's like a safe way of you like getting your money back and whatnot. So if you overpay or not, you have to do a bunch of stuff for that. But all I'm saying, guys, is your best bet on getting your money is take them to the DS. Okay. But moving on, guys, what I wanted to bring into this world was different for the people that I was talking to. Why? Because they have a different world. They live in a different reality, and they don't believe in the same things that I do. And some of you are thinking, well, that sounds powerful or whatever, or this kid is full of shit. And I don't know how it applies to me, because I'm not in a 9-to-5. I have bills. I don't have customers, but I have bills. And you know what? You guys are barely finding out who I am. But I'm being consistent with myself, because I set myself a goal of showing up every day. Even the days that I didn't want to show up, I still showed up. And the days that I didn't, I can count in one hand, and I still feel guilty for them. But I want you to look at every single one of those like little failures and achievements that you've done in your life. Because that's what people who didn't make it have in common. And I say this with all the love in the world. I want you to look at every single thing, okay? They spent more time explaining why they couldn't spend, or why they spent using. They spent more time explaining why they couldn't than why they could. Think about it. You have you have a dream. I know you have something that you want to do in life. You have a goal in life. You have something that you look forward to, and you wake up every day and you're like, one day I'm going to have this. And that's what keeps you going, right? Whether it's a person, I hope it's nothing material, but whether it's a person or just a personal achievement, that's what fuels you every single day, right? Let's say peace. But then, like, how can you find peace when you're in chaos? You're in a place where you don't want to be. And it sounds easy, yes. Oh man, yes, you're right. I'm gonna leave this job that obviously supports me. You know what, guys? I took the risk of a safety net, a job that I knew needed me, and that was gonna take time in order to keep me out. That was gonna give me time to get out. I can't find it because and it's fair, but it's not your fault. What can you do about it if you continue to worry about it? Instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to do my part. I'm going to find my inner peace because I know that when I find inner peace, I can show others how to find inner peace. And it's like a domino effect. That's what I figured. If I was somebody so negative and so stubborn and I was able to change my perspective by just facing my shit, why somebody that, so I can speak with my neighbors? Yo te enseño. Practica conmigo. Podemos hacer message en español. Cuando lo aprendes a leer, tu pronunciación está mejor. Porque empiezas a entender cómo está todo al revés en inglés. When you start to read Spanish, I would suggest watching everything with Spanish subtitles. Or vice versa. Because when you're reading it, you start to understand it more, and then you can learn it. I think that's why you ended up on my FYP. Maybe because I'm a Mexican and not a Mexicant. But think about it, guys. We set up so many excuses. I'm glad that you ended up I'm glad I ended up on your FYP, honestly. I think everything happens for a reason, and you probably have something within you, not just the learning Spanish. Boyfriend is Mexican and I want to talk with them. Of course. You see, you have a goal. Learning Spanish. And you're doing the work. You're actually taking a step forward into coming closer to that goal. And that's the thing, like, I want to learn French. I downloaded Duolingo, but I didn't do it. So you're way ahead of me. I have so many guitar books because I wanted to learn how to fingerpick. But I'm just a little rhythm buddy. Now I can do a little bit more, but it took a lot of my energy to focus on that. Because I was always so busy with life. And that's the thing, like we sometimes get caught up in our 9 to 5 and our routines that we don't even see how fast time goes by. And next thing you know, it's already Christmas again. It does. It takes time to be creative, but if there's one thing that I can share that I learned along the way, because I'm somebody that has many ideas, but I don't know how to start them. Exactly. And especially if you're a female, right? You have already a disadvantage there. But I want to say that the one thing that I learned is that, or the one thing that's helped me is to journal in the morning. I'm always going to abide by journaling, whether it's in the morning, at night, but you need to dump all your thoughts, everything that you're thinking, or even if it's a voice note, a video, whatever you'd like. I like writing, so I write. And I have so many journals that I would buy of 200 pages, and I ended up filling up in less than 30 days. Because you got to get all that noise in your head out. I can assure you, if you just try it one day, if you could just please try it one day, that's all I'm asking of you. I'm not even trying to sell you anything. Just try to write all your thoughts one day before you start your day. And you're going to feel a little bit of peace. Your mind's going to feel a little bit more quiet. I have ADHD, so my mind is always going. And before I had medication, I had to try that. And it helped. It helped me plan my day out. I don't really go by times. That's why I'm always fashionably late. But I don't really go by times. I've always been early because I was so anxious and scared to be late. But now that I'm like aware, like I'm always running late. But I would say dump all that noise in your head into paper, into a voice note, whatever you'd like. Don't let anybody read it. Shit, throw it away afterwards if you want. But the moment that you write it down, it's out of your mind, for the day at least. And it gives your mind space to be creative. You're going to feel more energetic to do something different that day. I'm somebody that's always, I have a dip in my bed because for months, that's all I did. I just laid in bed after work. That was my spot. I'm not even lying. My back is all fucked up because I just laid in bed or sat in bed. But I always had the urge that this wasn't supposed to be my life. Like, if this is life, what the fuck? Like, we're always working for material shit. Everywhere we go, it's like, look at the happy things outside of you. You know, I don't have that advantage. I'm still learning about myself. But I had to accept the fact that my downfalls weren't my fault. And that's one thing that we are so hard on ourselves. Like, we have all the tools. Everybody has a smartphone. You have a smartphone? If you do, tell me what phone you have. It took a lot of time for that. I had to tell myself, it takes a lot of time. Sometimes I overanalyze what I say, but every day I started writing to myself that I'm proud of myself. Because if you think about it, nobody really, we know that we need it, so we tell other people, right? Because we crave that. But what if you took care of that inner child inside of you? I can assure you that once you start to take care of that little kid, because I was always like jumping on trees and shit, and oh, I'm way nicer than others to others. Yeah, we are. I used to give it my all, man. I thought that sacrifice was love, but I realized that it makes a person unattractive. When somebody is just devoted to you, they are no longer a unique person. They're no longer a different mind. And that's why you always have that one person that's dying for somebody and chasing for the love they can't have. But the second they ignore them, that other person comes back, right? Because we crave being, we like the bad fucking life, guys. And I was very neglected. I appreciate your comments. I know that that Jesus loves me. Honestly, I don't go to church. I haven't. My whole family is Catholic, but thank you. I appreciate it. My whole family is Catholic, and I believe in God. I've always feared God. I used to pray every single night up until like my 30s before going to bed. But I stopped going to church because I realized that when I was at church, I was judging everybody. And I knew for a fact that I wasn't the only one. Because I would see people that were cheating on each other, like a family. I would see people that would lie, that would steal from others. Exactly, you don't need church to be spiritual. So I decided to look in other, when I was at my lowest, I decided to look into other religions. I looked into Satanism and I realized that Satanism is not bad. Satanism is actually live and let live. And if somebody screws you over, then you can take revenge upon those. We're taught to believe that Satanism is about the devil. No, it's just, yeah, there's rituals and whatnot, but it's about the tenets are good. True, I'm not a churchgoer myself. And my grandpa was a deacon. When my uncle and I came out being gay, he said, my uncle asked him if he thought we were going to hell. And he said, you know what? That's between you and God. I'm still going to love you the same. Is it something that I believe in? No. But what can I do about it but love you? I was a Southern Baptist. Yeah, I appreciate you, Midnight. My grandpa said, what good does it do me to not love him and worry for him? Thank you. I appreciate you. I'll follow you guys back right now. I'm not great at this. But he said to my uncle, you know, when you go outside, you're already being judged by the world. You're already being criticized. You're already fearing for your life. Exactly. He's like, so your home should be your safe space. It should be the place you come and you can be yourself. It's like, so I'm going to love you and I'm going to accept you because you're my son. And because whatever it is that the Bible says that is good or bad, that's between you and God. That has nothing to do with me. And I've always took that. My grandpa was he was like the only dad figure I had. And I cherish those things because he never tried to make me religious or go to church. Nobody ever forced us to go. Only when we were little because we couldn't stay home alone. But I stopped going because I realized that I wasn't going with good faith. And I never read the Bible. I have never read the Bible. I know stories because my grandparents used to read me stories before going to bed, because from both sides. Then my grandma's house burned down, and the only thing that didn't burn was the Bible. And that reassured me that God exists. I was like 11, 10. I'm already awake. And I was like, you know what? If God made me, this is the realization that I came to. And you guys can tell me if I'm good or not. But I see the crucifixion of Jesus. Exactly. You know, everything melted on top. My grandpa still has the Bible. It's still put together. Not, you know, the pages, not even the pages burnt. And the whole house burned down. And my grandma had made like this, she used to like to, what is it, the knitting? So she had made a cover of like knitting, I think. And there was a Virgin Mary on top. And there was old magazines, like those cowboy magazines and shit, that were melted on top of the cover of the Bible. And the image of Virgin Mary did not get damaged at all either. There was like a melted plastic on top of it that legit came off as a complete piece. And the Bible itself, they found it when they went back. Everything was already closed off. And they saw that there was like some book that was just open. And it was the Bible. And you know, the pages are very, like, I'm glad you found me too, Linda. My wife's name is Linda too. And your last name reminds me of one of my customers, Miss Hess. She was one of my favorite customers. And that was the day that my grandma started believing too, because she was so angry at God for her downfalls. And I feel like I had to break the silence, because there's a lot of stuff in our culture that is accepted and is normalized. A lot of abuse. And we just take it. Exactly. Jesus and Mary, that's what I wanted to come for. I'm sorry. I started to realize when I sat with myself, and I had this whole like epiphany, I guess you can call it. Because I was trying to find myself. I was trying to find peace. I was really at my lowest. I felt like I was going to die. Let's put it that way. And I could have outed myself many times, and people wouldn't have noticed. Not even my mom, because my mom didn't know about it until 6 months later. But my sister lived here. She wouldn't have noticed, because she didn't even check on me to say how I'm doing. But I was always very intense and whatnot, right? So that's when I started looking into like meditation, frequencies, all that stuff. And I realized that everything is intertwined. I came to the realization that, yes, we have the divine mask and femme. And I was always the mask. I never embraced my femininity. Like, I don't wear girls' clothes at all. I don't feel comfortable being girly, and I'm probably more girly now, because I'm okay with it now. I don't give a fuck. But I hated it, and I would be so bothered when people confused me for a boy. But now I don't care, because I feel like everybody's their own fucking world, right? Yeah, and I used to hate it when I was called as a tomboy. And now it's like, well, I'm gonna be the cutest girl or the hottest guy. And ironically, when I look like a boy, like most guys are like after me, which makes me wonder. Same, I always say I'm a bad bitch and a hot boy. Hell yeah. I'm cocky as fuck. Everything about me popping, got face, I got body. You name it, I got it. Hello. Megan Thee Stallion made me build my confidence, guys. I twerk in my car. But I see the crucifixion. I realize that the crucifixion of Jesus is literally a visualization of us coming to God with all of our shame. When Jesus was here, and so many things happened. There was a book I found, actually. When I was trying to do this, I kept getting signs. There was a book that I got from like some Seventh-day Adventist or something like that. And it talked literally what I'm telling you right now. how everything was interpreted wrong. God sent his son to live in our world, right? And he was obviously corrupted by our world. That's why he was crucified. Now, when he's there at the cross and he said, Father, forgive them, or what he says, right? How they sinned, right? That's literally him accepting his sins. That old version of him had to die. The sinner version of him had to die in order to be reborn into this light and beautiful being that came 3 days later. That's why he's glowing. Yes, they know what they do, I think. They not what they do. Yes. And if you think about it, that's what you do. I didn't understand why people turn to God after a bad situation. And I'm not a religious freak either. Me and him are homies. He knows he picked me to tell you guys that you guys are the shit. And I'm doing his work. I'm just a little messenger, guys, to wake you up and tell you, think about it. If we're all part of God, God has all these strengths and powers and wisdom, right? What scares me is that Father turned during the facing of the sin. I love church. Exactly. I don't fucking like that shit. I'll call that shit out in public. I don't give a fuck. I called my family out. And that's why they don't invite me to things, because I would say I'm both. I'm both because I am aligned with God, and you can't have spirituality without believing in God. Mary Magdalene was supposed to teach us spirituality, to be able to interpret the crucifixion and the rebirth or the resurrection of Jesus. But Peter Pumpkin Eater was a fucking jelly bean. How can a female have this strong message to give when a female is supposed to be somebody that's weak? Think about it, guys. The Bible shames females left and right. And any word that you think that is a cursed word is in a female way, right? What if I told you that Mary Magdalene was not a whore? She was actually a spiritual person, and that's why Jesus chose her. Look it up, guys. There's Mary Magdalene scrolls that were just found. Why do you think that the people where there's this, I was just watching this video yesterday about the people that hide scrolls in So Is Jesus Inspiration. She was the one that connected with Jesus into finding that light inside of you guys. I appreciate you, Lindy. Thank you so much. I never knew until I did a reading and they said you're related to... Exactly. Guys, you have to embrace your femininity. Mary is the cup of life, the Holy Grail. A uterus is the Holy Grail. Life comes from uterus. Any good man has a great female behind him, right? The female is the foundation of a family. When the mother dies, the family gets dispersed, breaks up, doesn't it? Your intuition, guys, is your power. I'm too masculine despite my appearance. I'm trying to... You're going to find it. Because I was too masculine too. And now I'm such a girl, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm a badass bitch. And I like to twerk, guys. I shake my knees all the time. I ain't got nothing to twerk, but... I ain't got nothing to shake, but my knees be popping left and right. Just being open. Exactly, guys. And that's what I'm trying to create here for you guys. I am trying to expose my shame so that you guys are okay in sharing yours. You guys are safe here. I'm not going to judge you. The fact that you're taking a step and recognizing that you did wrong. I go live every day, baby. I'm going to be live at 7 again. Or 6. But I've been doing this every day for ever since January 27th. Because my dog, there's so many things that happen, guys. I could go and be here for a whole fucking hour. I said myself, thank you. I appreciate it, guys. My goal is to build a community where you guys can just... Honestly, I had been offering one-on-one sessions. You're truly doing the beautiful good work. Yes, and that's all I want to tell you guys. Like, guys, I was a negative person. I was somebody that hated people. And now that I see people, like I don't know what to say sometimes, but I want them to know that I saw them, because I felt like nobody saw me. We all want to be remembered in some way, right? Why not be that person that changes somebody's day? If you're in customer service, I know that there's a huge line, but the fact that you said something genuine to somebody, I appreciate you, Tonto. Tonto PhD. When you take those extra 5 seconds and say, and you see somebody's having a frown and be like, hey, like, what's going on? Or whatever you think of. I am very spontaneous and I would come up with the craziest shit. One time there was like these two girls that were gonna get a divorce. And I was like, girls are assholes, huh? And then she looked at me and she's like, that's my ex-wife. And I was like, well, girls are assholes, right? That was a quick save. They just laughed it off and now we're cool friends. And then there was this old couple that was gonna get married. I was like, did you guys tell your kids you guys are coming here? They were like, I'm 95 years old. They wanted me to be at their wedding. They were gonna come like the next following days. They introduced me to their whole family. It was like the best feeling ever. I love it, honestly. And I used to be very unapproachable. But I realized, you know what? I'm gonna turn all my downfalls and I'm gonna turn them into something great. When somebody would have something to criticize about me, I would step up my game instead of fucking dwelling on it. Instead of laying there and be like, my boss doesn't like me. I'd be like, I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna show her who the fuck I am. And I would. I would challenge myself. I would have competitions with myself. And I became the best advisor. I had the longest line at the fucking courthouse. People look for me still. And I love that. I didn't realize that I could turn my pain into something that would help others. And that's our true purpose in life, guys. To create something that truly makes you happy. To do the things that you love. Because that feeling that you have in your stomach, it's not a fart. Okay, it's not gas. It's not a burp. And it's not what you ate yesterday either. It's not heartburn. It's your fucking intuition, guys. Mary Magdalene gifted you. Exactly, it's not a pinch bello. I fart all the time. You can ask my wife, I don't care. But we have challenges. It's like, pull my finger. Or I could be like, do you smell that? And be like, eh. That's how I got my kid to learn how to joke around, take a joke. Because I'd be like, you're a fart smeller. But yeah. I watch a lot of Family Guys. A lot of Family Guy. And I can relate to being Peter. I think Peter is my spirit animal. I discovered who I was through Jesus Christ who leads me. Exactly. Honestly, we're all part of a light. Smart fellas, fart smell. Yeah. And you're a fart smeller. Yeah, when he tells Meg. And he's like, yeah. It's hilarious. You know what? Family Guy actually has good lessons. Because that Trump one that he did. But we're not going to get into politics, okay? And to be okay with other people's opinions. Yes, guys, Mary Magdalene is very powerful. Mary Magdalene is the fucking secret. Mary Magdalene is the Holy Grail. She's the true connection that... Guys, look up the CIA files. There's PDFs about millions of dollars being spent on psychic ability. It was used during the Cold War. Yes. Guys, there's scrolls that were just discovered. Realistically, yes, we are. You know that Adam and Eve weren't the only humans alive? They were the ones that were gifted the gift of a choice, of choosing, of being able to choose. And they failed at it. So now they had to go and learn from their pain so they can teach others, right? That's our true purpose. Every religion tells you, if you look and combine all religions are going to have a creator, right? It's something that we derive from. What if I told you that before our bodies, we're pure consciousness? We're part of Jesus. Those abilities that Jesus has, we're able to create them if we truly believe in ourselves. It's not fake. Psychic abilities are not fake. Hecate is my homegirl and so is Santa Muerte. Hecate stands at the crossroads She gives you all these paths that you chose not to see because you're so blinded with ideas that weren't even yours to begin with. Santa Muerte, what does she do? She shows you the truth and how painful the truth can be. She shows you everybody's true fucking colors. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'll be going live again at 7. I want to say 7 or 6. I'm going to post an event for sure, though. I always post events before I go live, so. But think about it, guys. I am somebody who can be very compassionate, but you don't want to fuck with me because I know your true colors, and I know you're not going to change. The way humans have ancestors, yes. Think about the Aztecs. Why do you think the Aztecs praised the moon and the sun? Santa Muerte is dressed as Maria Guadalupe. I respect you, friend. We might not agree on everything. I appreciate you. And you know what? I'm open to other perspectives. I'm going to answer all questions right now as soon as I'm done with this thought. Because I really want to interact with you guys. I want to see what you guys have to think. But I'm open to all perspectives. Like, I don't judge anything. I think that we can learn from each other. And we should be open to other people's perspectives. Because if you think that everybody thinks like you do, then you're obviously off to a wrong start. You're going to be disappointed every day. Because the beauty of us being unique, that would be boring. Exactly. The beauty of us being unique is that we learn from each other each day. That's why whenever you have a partner, you want to let them be themselves because that's the person you fell in love with, not the person you're turning into by keeping them closed in your space. You're letting that plant die. And it's the same way. You can't say that you want a certain type of love when you don't even give yourself that love. Because I'm going to tell you right now, most of the time, you don't know what you want. You think you want that type of love, but when you have it, you're like, what the fuck is this? I'm suffocating. I would recommend to learn what you like. Exactly. Everybody you meet is a mirror of you. It's different versions of you. And you see there's going to be times where you are playing the role of your ex, maybe, in a new relationship. And you're seeing how you failed that person in the past. Exactly. And you have to learn before you judge people. You gotta think that when you point, you have like all these fingers over here pointing back at you. Think about it. The main questions, guys. It all comes from whether you like to accept it or not, you have to let go of that pain of your parents. My dad was not a great person either. My mom stayed too long. And you know what, guys? Exactly. Mountain Misfit just hit one right here. My mom stayed too long, and it created a long-term effect between my sister and I and staying too long in relationships. It's a beautiful way of saying simple, but yeah. Like, my mom stayed too long, which made me hate being a girl because I thought females were weak. I thought females had no power. That's what it caused me to see. My mom said, oh, well, I wanted the best for you guys. Okay, I appreciate it, Mom, but you know what? The best for me wasn't you staying. I can assure you that. And it's not. If you think you're doing your kids a favor, your kids are too smart. You were feeding them from your umbilical cord, guys. Just like you can feel when something's wrong, they feel it too, guys. Yeah, and you know what? What sucks right now? The names are exactly. No, and it's okay. Like, don't be sorry. I used to be angry at it, but now I feel sorry, and not in like a demeaning way towards my dad. My dad ended up dying by himself. He was an alcoholic. Like, there was not even long ago, 2-3 years ago, I used to think like it's all my parents' fault because my mom didn't push me to go to school. My mom didn't push me hard enough. And I talked to my mom, and mom's like, well, I gave you all this freedom because I saw your dad treated you the worst. Because my dad would always pick on me to get a reaction and then punish me for that reaction. I used to get beat a lot. But you know what? That taught me not to stay quiet. Because I don't take shit from anyone. And you may call me out of place, too loud, I don't care. But if I see that there's injustice, I'm gonna speak up. I'm always going out into the stores and I'm like, my daughter said, Dad, your words hurt me. Oh, I gotta tell you about my dad. Oof, girl, let me tell you. It's tea time. Get your coffee, guys. I got a good one for you guys. But let me tell you, right now it's hard because my mom thinks I'm a crackhead because I don't have a job. And I can tell my mom that I'm at peace, but she thinks I'm depressed. And I can tell her, Mom, this person messaged me and this and this. I can tell her about this live today, and she's still gonna see something wrong in me. And I used to take that to heart, but I understood that she's doing it in a caring way because she cares about me. It comes off as criticism because I'm already telling myself all those negative things. And in reality, I stopped being mad at my mom. Because if you think about it, guys, your parents only did the best they could. Your parents are reacting based on the environment that they grew in. And funny that whenever I tell my mom, hey mom, you know when I used to react like this? Well, remember this one time? And I'll tell her about our experiences as a family. The lack of, or maybe I needed you to do this. And she takes it as an offense. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not blaming you, Mom. Like, I love you. I love you because I know you didn't have a childhood, so you couldn't understand me there. But the beauty of it is that we have this time to talk it out and to learn from it. We're making connections. We grew out of that version. Yes, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And it's actually created because you're neglected all the time. Your emotions are not validated. You're too much. You're not taught how to define your emotions. I also have ADHD and acute anxiety. So that like bad feeling I always had, it wasn't a bad feeling. It was just, I was on survival mode. And if you guys didn't know, that deteriorates your muscles. There's a cortisol level that is constantly deployed whenever you're in fight or flight. And that's what it did to me. I couldn't feel my hands. I couldn't feel my legs. I'm 36. And I was losing movement at 33. Until my doctor was like, you know what, girl, we need to take you to the psychiatrist, see if you have anxiety. Thank God I got an ADHD diagnosis. And you know what? Everybody has a different past. And I hear you. And I believe every one of your guys' pains. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? That it's so easy for our family to say, está loco. Oh, damn, you're too hysterical. I fucking hate that word. Triggers me. And it's like, no, I'm not hysterical. Like, I'm not being too much. It's the fact that you didn't give me, like, one of the arguments that I've had with my mom a lot is how she says, well, it's because you didn't allow yourself. I'm like, Mom, I was 10. Your job was to teach me to how allow myself to do this. I'll be whatever you guys need me to be because I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of people who have so much potential and get shunned down because they're too insecure. Because we're always taught to look in the exterior things for approval and never within. Because what? A conscious person cannot be controlled, right? When somebody knows, you can't bullshit a bullshitter, guys. And I'm here for you guys. I appreciate you. I'm going against all odds. There's days that I'm supposed to teach all of you guys that are here today. And that's why you guys found me. I've learned that even when I don't want to show up, there's been days that I show up and I'm drained. I didn't have my medication for 2 or 3 days, so I was all over the place. And that takes a lot of my energy. I spent one day like asleep the whole day. I think Sunday I didn't log on. Can't push. Exactly. You know when you meet somebody and you're like, this person is ugh. You don't know why? Yes, I recommend to get diagnosis for ADHD because if you feel like you have all these ideas that you want to do and you can't get yourself to focus, honestly, guys, that's our drug problem that we all have. We all have some sort of neural divergency. I was just quoting you, talking to your mom. You were supposed to teach me. That's true. That hurts. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah, it does. I told her, and I know that it hurts. And sometimes she doesn't talk to me for days, but I just let her sit with it. Kids with autism are more connected to their pineal gland than we are. That's why they're so antisocial, because they don't need social skills. They already know what's up. My fucking 3-year-old, 4-year-old, she's hella fucking smart. She does her little breathing techniques and shit before I even taught her. We all have tism, guys. We all have the tisms. We all have OCD. My wife is autistic. She has She has Heinz, the hamburgers one. PTSD. I can relate to that. Can't. You know what, guys? A dysfunctional household can cause a child to develop slowly. It causes delays in development in children. The instability can cause autism. And it's been clinically proven. Whenever you're pregnant and you have so much anxiety and you're in an environment that's not healthy for you, you feed your child through your cord, right? Well, all that anxiety is given to that kid as well. And they're born with all these insecurities that weren't theirs to begin with. And if we think about it, guys, if you're watching me right now and you realize that I hit something, that's why I don't have kids. I always wanted to have kids. I used to cry at the thought of seeing my newborn. Just the thought. And I'm thankful that I didn't have kids, and I understand why, because my attention level is too low, and I can handle better a week on and a week off than to having a lifetime of kids of my own. And besides, like, I wouldn't be able to have them have boyfriends and girlfriends. Like, no, they're mine. It's like, no, I'm going to have to get rid of them at a certain age because I'm not going to be able to deal with this loneliness. I'm kidding, guys. But guys, if I can do it, like, all these issues are not bad luck, guys. You set them up for yourself. You have a life contract that you need to complete. You have a purpose, something that you wanted to learn in this lifetime. All the things that are coming out right now, listen up, because it's true. I mean, come on, guys. Our leaders are eating babies. Is there an association with being? No, I think that sometimes straight people have curiosity as much as gay people have curiosity. And I think that you should do what feels right. I don't think that you should label yourself until you've already experimented. And because, yeah, like, everybody, let's get into the whole baby eating shit, okay? Vampires, they're real. Think about it, guys. Unicorns, dinosaurs, everything. Nobody just thinks about the same shit out of nowhere. Pyramids everywhere in the world. No phones allowed. No phones even in town. No internet. No Wi-Fi. How did everybody communicate? Come on, guys. A lot of people want physical proof, right? There's so many artifacts they're fucking pyramids alone. Simply go to Mexico. That's my dream, to go to I don't know why lately I've been thinking a lot of Joshua Tree. They mess with sexuality for no reason, so we couldn't understand. Exactly. And why would you even think that? I was almost in the ghetto. Oh yeah, Mexico is dangerous if you go to places that you know for a fact you're gonna stand out. I used to be scared of going to San Luis, and that's just like 30 minutes away because my car was two black tinted windows and it looked like I was a dealer or something because I had a Jeep and whatnot. And you're you're exposing yourself that you're not from there. I would say always stay in areas that you know and you're familiar with. T uses it as stripe. Yeah. And here's the thing, what I see is, at this point, you can give me all the money in the world. But if you're a bad person, that's bad money. I don't care what you have to offer, but if your morals are not aligned with what you're speaking, and point is that he did say it out loud many times, and we refuse to see it. Because what do? We make excuses in order to be right, because we can't accept the truth. We can't accept being wrong. And you know what, guys? It's crazy, because I told, money shouldn't even exist. That's what I think. That's what divides us. There's so much money in the world, and yet there's so much hunger too. Why? It doesn't make sense to me. I would always think, like, why are we raffling off the lottery, but there's like children across the country that have nothing to eat. My main goal is that if I ever make it big, guys, I'm gonna remember every single one of you guys. My starting years. I've always said that. And I'm gonna give back as much as I can. Because dogs should not be suffering. Animals are my soft spot. A person has a choice, an animal doesn't. Exactly. We're meant to trade. Money was invented by some Asian person, I think. It was like Japanese person. It was first like introduced as like a bill of sale type of thing. But it was like back in the day. And then I just saw another perspective that Jesus fled to, because there's like a tomb of Jesus in Japan. It doesn't. Money makes you focused on the external, guys. It makes you lose focus of what your main goal is. Your main goal is to become your higher purpose, to reach your higher purpose. Your higher purpose is to become a better version of yourself from all that you went through and lead others. There's a group of women who live in peace and doing. Yes, there's actually the Ikigai. There's a group in Napa Valley, I want to say, where they don't have money. Let me see exactly. They're called blue zones. And I'm not even lying to you guys. Ikigai is the teaching of a reason for being, pretty much. A reason of being, right? And they believe that it pretty much merges your core elements, like what you love, what your passion is, what you're good at, like what your vocation is, and what the world needs, what the mission is, and what you could make money out of, what your profession could be, right? It incorporates it all, and with that, when you find your passion and joy, your talents and your skills, your contribution and your impact, you find your profession. It means that it combines everything, and your happiness, and you create happiness while giving back. And they actually, yes, most people in these communities live up to 95, 100 and something years old because they're happy, and everybody has a purpose in these villages. Everybody has. I suck at math, so I'd probably have you as a tutor. And they're happy tribes. They do things collectively. They do what's in their gut, and that's what Mary gave us, our intuition. That's your feminine side, guys. A guy can be fucking muscular as fuck, but he's not brave if he can't say, you know what, I fucked up. What can I do to make it better? And why does it cost us so much to say that? And at this point, what's making you stall? When you know you gotta do something, you know you gotta move. I'll see you soon. Thanks for going. Oh, beloved warrior, thank you so much. I'll see you guys longer. They live longer and just for one another. Guys, if you guys have questions, I'm all open for it. I would love to learn, I love the outdoors and I rarely go out. I got a bike because I wanted to bike ride, and then I didn't get a helmet, so maybe I need to get a helmet because people be whack. But you know what, guys? I can honestly tell you, you hold a lot of power within you. And we're too busy being present or showing up every day that we don't take a time for ourselves to rest. And answer me this. How do you want to be the best parent? Oh, I live in Arizona. I think I was supposed to be in the wild, living in a little hut out of the nature. If I could, I'd be a hippie. I definitely shower and shave, but like I just love nature. I love mossy forests. I've never been. Making the kids feel safe and happy. Yes. Yeah, like I love cooking for people. Hell yeah. No hairy armpits here. Hey, I got like super fine. Let me tell you guys, I don't mean to brag, but my armpits, my hair is like super fine. I can go months without shaving and it'll look like it's only been a couple days. That's the girl in me. And my legs too, guys. Like it's been like so many days and look, I don't even have anything. I love that we're all headed to community. Yes. You know what I wanted to do? My main goal was like to have, when I had kids, this was like, I thought like, I'm gonna get some containers and make a main house and have each kid have their own house in my same property. Maybe far away. But to give them something to start off with, you know? Or simply when I smell, I feel, yeah. Oof. I don't know if you guys have ever drank and then smoked at the same time and then you're hungover as fuck and you smell like the old man selling paletas at the corner. Damn, I didn't know a female can smell like that, but we can. Females poop too. And everyone has a golf cart so we can visit each. Yes. I'm all for that, man. And it's crazy because like I love they're headed to, yeah. Yes. You're sweating fucking liquor. Guys, I recommend eating some pozole, something spicy the next morning. Giant fire, yes. You know what? I love cooking for people. I love seeing people's reactions when they try my food. Because I pride myself in making the best white rice. The only Oh, if I do that too. And you know what, guys? Let me tell you, Q is like super awesome to garden with. I'm trying to stay sober. And you know what? Alcohol, I don't like something that I can't control. And I feel dirty when I get drunk. It helps me paint, but go too far. Yeah, well, you should drink more water, man. Like, I feel like I did things that I'm not proud of, even if I just stayed at home by myself, you know? But I feel like a hoe. I love that. Yes. I love that, Smiley. Yes. As I sip on my fucking coffee too. I feel like gardening for people that have that higher purpose allows them to ground themselves more and allows them to be able to listen and be more patient because we're always on the go, right? We always have to move. We're always anti-panty. And you know what, guys? Think about it. The more mistakes you make, the more experience you have. So nobody's going to be able to fool you. Nobody can control you if you're conscious. Like, you have a voice. You need to use it, guys. Okay? Stop spending time, wasting time, wondering why you didn't do the things you want to do, guys. You have a message. You know that there's something that you want to change. You see something around you. You remind me of my favorite parts of myself. I'm so happy that you came on today too. Honestly, like, I'm so glad I came on at this time. You guys, these last 3 days, and why do they call it spirits? Spirits. Yeah. Like, I'm so happy you guys came on, honestly. Like, this is literally my goal. Like, to have you guys share and realize that we're not so different after all. That it's okay to have different opinions. That we're all going through it in different versions, but no pain is greater than... My pain is not greater than yours. Alcohol. Hey, you know what? I tried that Don Julio right there. It was gifted to me for my birthday and I kept taking it as shots every time I was gonna go live because I needed like liquid courage. And it's gone. And you know what, guys? Don Julio is the bomb. Mostly because Yosemite. Oh my god, Yosemite! Partner is gone fire. Dude, Mountain Misfit, Yosemite is like my go-to place to be complete. I have pictures. Ooh, I got chills. I got pictures of the first time that I went on a solo trip with a friend, and I got to rent a little. I got like an $80 little cabin, some area. We got to see Hawthorne, the little town there, and that was the first time that I was like, you know what, fuck this. Like, I can go out on my own. I can do this shit. But I still kept falling, you know. I still kept being disappointed. I had a lot of friends that only used me. I had friends that came and ate at my table and were also using my bedroom, if you know what I mean. And that's probably what hurt the most. That I always gave a lot to people and they always used me. If the gardening was gone, there was no more friends. Yeah, I grew up in the ghetto too. My family was poor. And we're still poor. And I'm on my third marriage. I'm 36 on my third marriage. Number 3 is a lucky number this month. But I'm so proud that I didn't turn miserable. Yeah, third time's a charm. And I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I was neurodivergent. I learned that I didn't want to have my own kids. And I learned that, yeah, like I had a friend that brought me too much. I had pounds of it. I am on my very first, but very confusing. It's confusing, you know? It's confusing, but think about it. That person, if you want something to truly last, you really have to go into a relationship without any baggage. And I can say that with an honest face. Ordering some salad right now. Ooh, nice. Why? Yeah, no, for the kids, not sure. Kind of why I'm here. Look, your kids are not going to benefit from it. Because your daughter, do you have a son or do you have a daughter? Daughter and 2 sons. Okay. See you later, Tonto. Thank you so much for logging in. Thank you for the follow, and I'll keep in touch for sure. 2 little sons are being affected. Yeah, probably the ones that are going to be most affected. They are, but I'm going to tell you right now, my mom tried to leave my dad for 3 times. My dad's also diabetic. You see, this is why you came on here. And this is why we're talking right now. With eating any animal products lately, the way it's cultivated sets my soul. I have been having issues with eating in general. I'm not as hungry as much, and I don't crave certain foods. I've been craving pozole for almost a year now, but my mama makes pozole for everybody else but me. 11-11, guys! We met for a reason. Look, Mountain Misfit. Coming from divorced parents, my mom tried to leave my dad 3 times. He actually died from being diabetic. I'm not trying to scare you, but he was an alcoholic. He grew up in a very dysfunctional place. And what I wanted to share earlier was that my mom would always call him to have him come and see us. But his visits would only be 5 minutes. Literally 5 minutes. I'm not lying to you. Even for my sister, that she was like his biggest fan, it was only 5 minutes, because after those 5 minutes, he wanted to talk to my mom by himself. And that was 3 hours of him begging my mom to go back. The last time my mom went back, they went through to this like marriage retreat at church. And he came back the worst. So arrogant. My mom is a great person. That was her first and only boyfriend. She got married to him. That's all she knew. And we come from a conservative family, right? She grew up raising her 10 brothers and sisters. She never had a childhood. And she's always been close to God. She actually has a church group, or she thinks she just left it. But it makes her happy to talk about her situation because she overcame it. I have to say I was ashamed being a female because I saw my mom be there for too long. I used to beg my mom to leave because he didn't have to hit me in order for me to not want to be there. His presence alone was just miserable. He would yell at my brother. My brother's a year and a half older than me. I'm the middle child. My sister's 7 years younger than me. My sister was never hit, but the one day that he did hit her, she's never gonna forget. And he hit her with like a foam chancla that didn't even hurt. And yeah, I used to ask my mom, like, you know what's the worst part? That he would stand there and hug my mom and then be like, tu mamá es mía, your mom's mine. And tu no. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go with my daughter from Tijuana. Those were like his jokes, right? And then I'd be like, no, that's my mom. And then my mom would be like, hi, Rocio, he's just playing. And then he'd be laughing about it. And then I'd be like, well, whatever, you freaking bald-headed, ugly fatso. And then he would get mad, so I would get beat. So then I ended up crying after being angry, right? I never stayed quiet. Fuck that shit. And out of like the 2 years of them being separated, it kept happening, right? And I was just fucking tired of it because I was already feeling guilty that they separated, because they separated weeks after I begged my mom to leave. And I guess I was talking to myself. I had already fooled the psychiatrist or psychologist, telling him I was fine. Don't fucking watch, Aiden. Aiden, is your mama chola, Aiden? Is that the best you could do with your name, Aiden? You're one of those Aiden Nosabo kids, huh? Why are you hating, cuh? The fuck? Anyways, so get out of here, Aiden, because nobody cares about your name. Ain't nobody got time for you. Go ahead and interact, puppy. Give me them likes. Give me them comments. More interactions from me. Woo! I love it when you hate. That means I'm doing something right. Aiden is a no sabo kid, and he's just mad because he doesn't know how to speak Spanish. But he has a big old nopal right here in the forehead that says his middle name is Edgar too. Oh yeah, I love it. The haters are the reason why I'm here. I had this mean old shit here on my face. But I was like, you know what? Fuck you, boo. Because if you're hating, that means I'm doing something good. That doesn't make me lose sleep at night. Anyway, so yeah, like, one of those days I just got tired and my mom was like, you know what? We're gonna go already. We were at his house in Mexico and he was begging my mama. I got in the car and homeboy decides to tell me, get out of the car because your mom and I are talking. And I was like, you know what, sir? I was like 13, I remember. I got in so much trouble by my mama. I was like, you know what, sir? You decided to be an alcoholic. I don't understand why we're here and why you continue to beg my mother to go back with you. She's not going to go back with you, man. You lost a great woman. You had a whole ass family. And you lost it because you decided to keep the beer in your hand. Now, man up to it. Man up to your consequences. This is what you get based on the choices you made. Can we please go now, mother? He couldn't get fast enough. He couldn't get up fast enough to try to hit me. And everybody got mad at me. My mom got mad at me too. And then nobody went to my quinceañera from my dad's side because they were so butthurt about it. But then when my dad's long lost son came, everybody was so ready to help him out, right? Everybody wanted to bring him to the States. He was like a bastard kid that nobody even fucking knew about until after my dad died. And let me tell you, I told my dad, you know what's gonna happen, dude? You're gonna die by yourself, miserable, all alone, and nobody's even gonna know that you died because this is the life you created. Years later, I tried to build a relationship with him. He took me to both buy drugs, and then I told I played it cool. I told my mama, like, hey, just so you know, mama, my dad took me to get drugs, and then she called my grandma mad, and then I was still the one that was, like, wrong for shaming him. Oh, yeah. My dad wasn't in a biker game. He was just a truck driver, so you can imagine. Now, God said you don't need that negativity in your life. Well, I found out my dad was a drug addict too, but my mom always... I have to give it to my mom. Even though he treated her like shit and made her doubt herself, she never allowed us to speak bad about him. It was like a love-hate thing that I have towards that. But I have to say my mom had to work really hard. I mean, she was cleaning bathrooms at Kmart. she hadn't worked forever in her life, let alone with 3 kids, you know? But we always had a lot of great people that helped us out. We met a lot of great people. And I remember my brother and I used to go to the store to buy chips. And I clean cabinets for rich people at times too, yeah. And my brother and I used to, like, no shame, we used to go with 100 pennies when chips were like $1.01. So we'd go with 101 pennies to the store. It was pretty cool. But we got our chips. We didn't have any shame. We didn't care about using coins and shit. Yeah, ice cream, the paletero too. And then we had to stay at my grandma's for a while. But I remember I used to tell my mom, like, why did you have to pick him? The couch change. Yes, we used to look everywhere. Fucking car underneath everywhere. But we had a freaking bucket of coins. I told myself. I told my daughter I did love him a lot, but didn't know. Yeah. And you know, for a while I felt really guilty for asking my mom those questions. Because I'm sure that I didn't understand a lot back then. And I didn't understand that she was also losing somebody that she loved. That she was also having her heart broken. And then that it wasn't just me. And we all lived it. My mom had this anxiety thing where she used to cut her hair really short. And I think it hurt me more to see her hurt, that I just didn't want anybody to be around her. And I became really possessive. And the thing is that, you see, you're your mom's best friend. I'm like the black sheep of the family, the one that doesn't fit in. And I never fit in girls' clothes, but my mom always bought me girl stuff. So I was always the one that needed too much, wanted too much, and was always expecting the best, the difficult one, right? I would have been fine if somebody just saw me and said, oh, Rocio doesn't like bell-bottom pants, you know? But in that time, it was considered ungrateful. But now that I'm older and I've gone through financial situations, I'm going through financial situations. I've gone through having and not having too much and not having enough. And I'm like, the material shit comes and goes. I don't need that shit in my life. I said, go ahead, she needs it more. You know, my sister, I care for her like she was my daughter. Because my mom didn't have her papers at first. So she left before everything got bad, and she decided to do things the right way. So for a long time, she was actually providing for us without having papers. And she had to clean bathrooms, people's shit. And she would come home from eating ice all day because she didn't have money for lunch. And I could be wearing the most ripped pants, the worst shoes you could ever think of. But I was going to wait until she had enough money to buy me some Vans. And I felt so miserable for that for the longest time because I thought I deserved it and I didn't. But my mom made me think that it was okay. I remember she used to chase me with this fly swatter to hit me because I would start crying before she would hit me. And she never even did. I can count the times that she hit us afterwards. My brother and I fought a lot. But my brother's like the main father figure that I have. Yeah, and you know, when we were growing up, being gay wasn't a thing. Like, I had to look like a female. I had to be a person I wasn't. I have a friend that I admire her so much. And I've been meaning to tell her because she was the person that I wanted to be when we were in high school. She dressed the way I wanted to dress. And it was during a time that it wasn't accepted, where I still was bothered if people thought I was a boy going into the girls' bathroom. I actually stopped going to public restrooms for that same reason, to avoid discomfort, right? And now it's like, I can have them, like, I'm too giving sometimes. Have many gay friends, and even my husband says you must be gay from all girls. I'm like, no, okay. Yeah, like, I feel like you can love what somebody does because you're happy with yourself. Or you can say, you know what? Yeah, like, it's weird because lesbians, you know, the lesbians took care of the gays during the AIDS epidemic in the 80s, 70s, or whatever. But when I was growing up, lesbians and gays didn't get along, especially masked lesbians. And now it's like, I don't have many gay friends. I don't have many female gay friends. Because I don't know, I used to always compete with them. I was always like I get all the bitches, bitch. And now it's like, I wish I had gay friends, because now I have too many straight friends, and relationships are different. I feel like straight relationships sometimes undermine my relationship and my family, because I have stepkids and they're not necessarily mine. So it's like, they would fight each other back when, yeah, we would, honestly. Who is this? Let's see. What is this? And I have I'm the one that's always fucking breaking the cycles, okay? I told everybody I was gay. I came out first, then my uncle did. I told everybody about the abuse in my house, because we got an uncle that's a little PDF, and I figured I had to talk about it. And that's the reason why I started doing these too, because you have to be able to discuss these things. I didn't like the reaction. I didn't like the fact that we see things, but we turn the blind eye. Yeah. And this is a part that is like, I was the first niece from both sides, right? I was the one that they thought I was going to get pregnant at 16. That was going to be a druggie. I didn't start gardening until 25. You should. You should, because you know what? That's the one thing that's holding you back. It affected my sex life. It affected my personal self-worth. Yeah. And I was like, fuck that shit. I'm gonna make you eat your words. Yeah, I was 7 when my sister was born. And it was like in front of everybody too. Nobody would notice it. And I thought for the longest time everybody knew. And when I told them, it's like... And I caught myself like starting to have those tendencies. But I was like, what the fuck? This is not right. And that's when I understood, like... Yeah, like... That's what hurts me. Like... Gay people really have to plan it out to have a kid. And it's so inaccessible to us. You know? And straight people have them left and right. At some point, there's many people in the system that just birth them and they get taken away from them. They just go have the baby and leave. Because they already know they're not going to keep them. It's sad. I feel like instead of fixing abortion, we got to fix the situation we have here. We got to see what's around us, guys. You can't change the world, maybe. Maybe I'm not changing. Hello, Judith. Yeah. And sometimes, maybe... Igual a ti, la neta que sí, Gracias por estar aquí. Me voy a meter al rato en YouTube, and I'll probably do Instagram or Facebook. Exactly. You can change the world by doing it within your circle. Don't stay for the kids. Your kids see more than you have to say or speak. And you can't question yourself why your daughters take the abuse in the future if you're giving them the example of allowing it. And your sons mistreating their wives if you don't have the right example for them. I feel like if we stop passing the comfort of like, okay, I'm gonna be okay in this discomfort because family comes first. Not in my book. You have to do a lot more to earn my trust. Sad but true, I'm so sorry. I wanted a happy ending. You are gonna have your happy ending. And the fact that you see it, you have to be able to have that conversation with your kids. Because your kids are smarter than you know. And yeah, and you know, when you're doing work, that's when you're most focused on your thoughts, right? But what if you start shifting that, and instead of saying, oh my god, I'm such a loser, I'm such a failure, this and that, you're like, you know what? No, I'm not, because I got this done. And no, I'm not. Why does that? Exactly. maybe this, let's put it this way, boo-boo. This is the soul contract that you signed. You set these. I'm really happy to have met you today. You're amazing. Thank you, Rebecca. Honestly, you're amazing for staying here and listening, because that's already you doing that's already you taking a little bit of a step and saying, you know what, those devil's curls have a little bit of insight. And that's what I do this for. That's why I try to do it so often. You guys are awesome for sharing your personal thoughts with me. Like, honestly, it's amazing. No, you go on. Like, that's what I'm here for. Because I know how to not own it. How to not make it mine. I'm here so that you can release it and to guide you. That was my purpose. To wake you guys up and to make you see that you have so much more potential. And to start reframing or rephrasing the sentences you use constantly. Instead of saying, fuck, I didn't do this. Say, you know what? I got this done today. And now I know that I got that out of the way. Because that's how I am. I beat myself up every single day. I explode over little things because I'm already telling myself in my head that I suck. So yeah, everybody's going to think you suck. If you believe it, people are going to see you how you want them to see you. Yes, I didn't like when I was developing. I never liked wearing a bra because, you know, I didn't want people to see me. I didn't want to be seen. When before that, I was singing at freaking town parties and shit, wanting to be seen all over the place because I was going to be a star. And I remember when I told my mom I wanted to be a star, and then she said, don't you ever say that again. And I thought it was something bad, but apparently it was like some lady that was like dancing in bikini, and I guess she thought I wanted to be that. Oh yes, guys, I have hips that don't lie. Look, they don't lie. I promise they don't lie. So like, mind you, being like, whenever I gain weight, guys, I gained weight one time. And you know what they used to tell me? That I looked like a T-Rex or like a little pear because I had little arms and a big butt. Everything goes to my fucking ass and my thighs. I'm like Squidward when he eats all the patties. But my books and my gut. No, guys, like, honestly, my boobs and my gut. Same, I have developed very early. Oh no, I got lucky, man. I'm a little pear. That's all I gotta say. Thank you for joining my fan club. The whole point is to grow my fan club so that I can post things for you daily, even if I'm not live, so you guys can have a space to vent and support each other. They put me on a diet at 7 for that mountainous, but I did always wonder if I developed early, because I don't think you developed early because of the, well, I'm gonna answer from mountainous. Your mind developed early. Oh, that shattered my world, the period. My cousin thought that if you were a lesbian, your period would go away. That would be fucking awesome. That was when my mom gave me the period talk. She made it sound like it was horrible. And then on top of that, it ruined my life because I liked climbing trees. I was an outdoor kid. I was always riding my bike with my dogs. I learned how to drive an 18-wheeler at 10. That was pretty fun. I told my dad about it and he got mad. I thought I would never be able to swim again too, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Rebecca. When my mom told me that, it really shattered my heart, and it was the most uncomfortable talk because she made it seem like if I got close to a guy, I was gonna get pregnant. And I feared sex for the longest time. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 19. I thought I was gonna bleed out because it was like a whole fucking week. We're here talking about periods now. I'm sorry, guys. And then I don't know about you guys, but I had too many accidents at school. It was always embarrassing. And I didn't know the beauty of tampons. Yeah, it's Thirsty Thursday, guys. Tampax Thursday. Maxi Patty. Mountain Misfit. We're gonna call you and they should be free. Exactly. Like condoms, they should. Yes. And you know what? I'm proud of you for being able to talk about it. A lot of times people say, my mom tells me, well, you're just living in the past. Homegirl, I'm not living in the past. I'm talking about it so we can normalize the safety of discussing taboo subjects. Because every parent wants their kid to be open with them, right? But then when it comes to real talk, they don't want nothing to do with it. When it comes to the parenting part, they're like, well, you picked that. It was your choice. But I have to have a full hysterectomy at 20. I'm so sorry about that. Maybe you weren't able to. Maybe the fact that you weren't able to is not something so bad. You have the love of a mother. Maybe your goal is to care for others who don't have that parent figure. Yeah. I am too, and I talked about the abuse I did in a group message on a video. And I let them know how disappointed I was in the family and how most of my reactions came back from my insecurities because I felt seen. I want to do that on me too. I have kids sending love. Yeah. And you know, it's for your health. It's for your health too. So you gotta put yourself first. And that love that you have can be directed into a higher purpose. You have a bigger purpose. With more purpose, you have a greater purpose. All the things that happen to you are preparing you for that moment in your life where you're going to wake up and you're going to realize that you're capable of doing so much more when you have the right focus. That's all we need to do. Because, like, I really want you guys to try some of the things I tell you guys. I have 13 God kids. So I know that's, yeah. And you know, it's crazy because sometimes the people that cannot have kids know and value more the life of a child than those who can. And that's probably the purest love that you can ever have. Oh, boy and a girl, that's perfect. That's good. And you know why you're in a loving marriage? Because you have boundaries. You set boundaries for yourself. You know what type of love you wanted and the type of love that you're willing to give. And you don't sell yourself short. And I'm proud of you for that. A lot of guys in specific are born with guys, in both of my pregnancies, it was definitely a spiritual journey. They forced me to face things. Yeah. And your kids are going to be very resilient because of that. Because everything that you overcome, all that fear you have, insecurities, is passed on to your kids. Wow, 17. You know, I feel like maybe I would have gone further had I been pushed harder. But at the same time, I learned to love all my downfalls and failures. That I see them and I'm like, that was fun. Because I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here talking to you guys today. You guys wouldn't be here today had you not made all those mistakes you made. That Leo sun's going to give you, and that Virgo daughter is going to, the Leo sun is going to be all over the place. He's going to be going out a lot. He's going to have a lot of girlfriends. And then your Virgo daughter is going to be an introvert. And she's going to be the creative one. She's going to be the one that likes to paint. The Virgo sun, he's going to be handsome as fuck, let me tell you. And he's going to be a showstopper for sure. He's going to be a ladies' man. And so is your daughter. I'm a Capricorn. I always said that the being late didn't fit with me, but now that I'm becoming my true self, I can see that it does fit. I get along. My wife is a Virgo. I get along with Virgos and Libras. Aquarius, I think. Supposedly Aries. Yeah, she's more of in her mind. She's more in her world, and she's gonna need a lot of reassurance. A lot of reassurance so that she can rebuild her confidence, because she's very powerful. She's gonna be somebody that's revolutionary, but she needs to remind herself and know how to love herself, because she holds a lot of... Virgos are very powerful people, let me tell you. They are not introverts because they're scared. They're introverts because they know and they have a vision of what they want, and they like stability. And you always see a Virgo with like somebody that's an extrovert, and sometimes doesn't work out because the extrovert can find Virgos introvert see intriguing and vice versa, but they wear each other out. The Virgos are very creative. I love Virgos. He's a Leo and a Pisces. What day is he like towards the beginning of August? Because if he's towards the end, he's gonna be more of like a Virgo, Libra. I mean, is this August, September? No, Virgo. I'm like from Aquarius. Don't date Scorpio men, maybe women, and a lot of Scorpio. Scorpio, Aquarius and Capricorn's vibe. That's why you guys vibe with me. Oh shit. My best friend was Aquarius. She later turned out to be a hater, but we've been best friends for over 20 years. And then, hello, Andrea. Thank you for joining. Go ahead and like, follow, share. We were talking about our periods earlier. Well, you know what, Andrea? I'm glad you're here, because I'm going to remind you that you're an amazing person. And the fact that you're here is because something is intriguing you. You know you got to change something. You just don't know where to start. But the fact that you're looking at different perspectives, even if you haven't taken action, is a big step alone. And if you guys are ever curious about what type of phone do you guys have? I really want to know what type of phone you guys have. And I'll tell you why right now. Hell yeah. Aries. Ooh, Aries, you're very blunt. And you have a very dry humor, right? Aries are a trip for me. I have a friend, I didn't know that was Aries, but he's like he jokes. He's like JK, not JK. But I like it because Aries, when you have an honest Aries, it's badass. But I want to know what type of phone you guys have. Do you guys have an iPhone? You wanted to ask about Aries? What do you want to ask? I have one friend that's Aries. Motorola, okay. Do you guys have AI? Do you guys have like Gemini, if you have Samsung? I don't know Motorola has one, but I know for a fact that Whisper is one. And if you need an AI, I can give you a link to get yourself a free AI for a while. The reason why I'm asking about AI is because why pay for therapy? When you can literally put all your messed up thoughts in the order you want and this AI to give you different perspectives. That's what allowed me to see things differently. Because I would bring my issues, I mean, it sounds lame, I know, but I would bring my issues to Claude and I would say, am I wrong for this? Because sometimes I felt like I was arguing when I had no reason to be arguing, you know? And it would make me see the bigger picture. And that pause that I would take into examining a tone of a text or being able to say, am I wrong in this argument? Because the last thing that I want to do is to make myself look like a fool. Exactly. Because it feels weird to do something you want for yourself. It feels shellfish, but you're not a shellfish, guys. You're fucking awesome. You're the cycle breaker, guys. You guys are here because it was my purpose to get you up and ready and tell you it's time to wakey, guys. Because things are not going to come to your doorstep. Gemini, Cancer. You know what, Mr. Panda? You need to stop making yourself feel like you're the problem. And stop treating yourself like a victim. Okay? That's why your wife overpowers you all the time. Because she says it how it is. And you just stay quiet. You need to set your boundaries, Miss Panda. Because just as much as her feelings matter, so do yours. And if it doesn't work out, then maybe it's not there, boo-boo. Yeah, don't be a victim. You're not a victim, but it's everybody's problem. It's everybody's fault. No, I'm kidding. Geminis are very, Geminis are a trip. My mama is, I think I'm more direct, but I was afraid of speaking up. You know what? And that's how we grew up. There's a difference between someone born April 1st. Well, I have noticed, let's see, you're in Aries, right? And then after Aries, it is, let's see what card comes out. The 9 of Wands. This card has been coming out a lot. Let's see. You're a Cancer. Ooh, Cancer. I'm gonna run from you. No, I'm kidding. My dad was a Cancer. And it was everybody's fault. You're Apple, so then you have Siri. You can literally talk to Siri. It's combined with ChatGPT, and it'll give you, if you literally just talk to it how you would to your therapist, it'll give you a more, like a more expanded explanation of both perspectives, and it allows you to see things differently and to analyze them, and it actually calms your anger. And builds that momentum of like, okay, I gotta own up to my mistakes, you know? Let's see. You're from April, yeah, because Aries starts from April 18th and Pisces ends on the 18th. And the 1st of April is more aligned with Pisces. Yeah, Geminis are fighters. I'm not gonna lie. My mom and my brother are Geminis. But the one thing that I don't like is that they give themselves too much. And they don't ever take care of themselves. That's the problem with Geminis. They're too soft. Remember, Gemini is the symbol of a Gemini. Isn't it like the two fish? Or the two faces? Right? I don't know. I can tell you about the horoscopes, but I don't know there's like symbols. Yeah, it's the twins. So we're all we all. What is the story of Suze? Yeah, Suze. That there's like two versions, like the masculine and the feminine side of you. So if you've already embraced your masculine side, then allow yourself to feel. Because let me tell you guys, one thing: when you're being aware and you're being consciousness is not going to bring you peace. Or it's not going to give you happiness. Sun and Moon, he had to do a lot of inner work. Yeah. My mom is a Gemini, and right now she's still in that denial version of everything's her fault. And she doesn't see how much she has accomplished on her own. And how proud I am of her, man. Like, she didn't even know the language, and she came here and did everything that she did for us. And I work hard as fuck because of her. I can say that she shifted that mentality that now, like, I didn't even like listening to females sing. Yes, there's the sweetheart side of me, and there's the side that doesn't take any bullshit, right? My ex is Aries, and he was a big complainer. Yeah. Oh my god, I have a friend that's like that. He thinks he's like the smartest. The deck that I have right now, oh shit, I just mixed it up. It's crazy because my wife gave me a deck that I wanted for the longest time. And ironically, it fits with my likings. This one is an oracle deck. It is called The Spheres of Heaven. And I liked it because I like purple lately. Well, purple has always been my favorite color. But it was too girly at the time, so I was like, I like blue. But yeah, it's this one, and then this tarot card deck was the one that I actually wanted from the start, but my wife picked it. And then my dog ended up chewing it the second we got home, like the box. And my wife was like, I don't want it anymore because her tism doesn't allow her to, like, you know. Months later, I had the urge. I didn't even have money, but I was like, I need to go get a fucking tarot card deck. We went, I saw this deck there, and I was like, oh, because you already have one. She's like, well, you can just... And in my mind, this whole time, I was like, I hope she gives me that deck. That I don't have to ask for it. So then, I get this oracle deck, and when we get home, she's like, well, you can have my deck, you know, I haven't even opened it. I haven't even touched it. Because the dogs bit the box, and I didn't like it anymore. So get this, guys. I got this one. It's like, so I love tattoos, right? And they're all like old school tattoos. And then it has like these. So my goal is to do one of these. And they come like in the gay versions too. But yeah, it's like fucking awesome. And then it's weird because like I've been getting a lot of like Two of Cups. I never could read tarot cards. Came out wrong every time. Maybe I didn't know how. When I was searching my place in this world or my purpose, I bought the old traditional deck and it was too accurate all the time. And then I would always have, you guys are not going to believe me, but I always had people that told me my future around. People that would tell me that I was, yeah, I think the oracle is a little bit more, because I don't like having to define 3 cards, you know? But it all depends on how you want to lay it out. But I've always had people that have in some way protected me, know too much about me. You like Nordic. I have a feeling that there's like some Viking in me too. Yeah, and you're gonna be ready. You're gonna be ready when you're ready, you know? Because it's not gonna... You see the Two of Cups. What did I just say? I told you guys, I usually get this card. Look, I'm telling you guys, I'm a witch. Yes, and ruins and stones, like, that's the goal, but I have a thing for, like, wood. So, get this, guys. I feel like I was living in the 1930s when the alcohol suppression and whatever nonsense, prohibition, I mean, came out. Because I am intrigued with those little hats. The paperboy hats, I love them. Anything that's leather, I love. Anything that's wood, oof, I gotta have it. I mean, look at most of my guitars. They're all, like, woodsy kind. My favorite guitar is, like, all woodsy. And then that one over there is, like, all woodsy, too. So I think I lived in the 1930s. And then I think I also lived in the Joan of Arc times, because Joan of Arc, I just feel like I was in the times where there was a lot of transformation going on and people needed to speak up. Yeah, because when you were a kid, you were so confident. I remember when I was little, I used to think like, I'm gonna win this raffle, because I mean, why the fuck am I not gonna win? And I would win. My ancestors back to Eric the Red, very famous. Oh man, I love that. I would love to be able to do that. I feel like, well, my last name, Duran Mesa, they're obviously from Mesa, I think it's like Spaniard. They're from like the people that got raped. I'm a mix of the Españoles and the natives, I guess. But I've always wanted to do the ancestry thing, because I feel like my DNA is ancestral, and it's probably not even going to be known here. I did meet my very first self that ever existed during a meditation. Honestly, my very first life was in... Yes, I feel like... Because let me tell you guys, I use guys to get things done around my house. That's what men are good for in my house. But that's the only time I call men. Because my yard is dirty, because my car needs fixing. Whatever nonsense, dirty nonsense. I'm a clean lesbian. I don't like to get my hands dirty. I'm a handy-manny lesbian. I like to wear the belt and have the grill. I'll have the dad shirt on Sundays with the Crocs. But I don't like to get dirty, guys. And I don't like to do the heavy work, so I feel like I was some sort of royalty before, that I had my little servants. I've always felt like I had to pay somebody to do the work for me, okay? I just don't think I should be doing those things. Like, what the what nonsense is this? No te vayas. My wife is here, and look at her. She's gorgeous. How do I get gorgeous wife? I don't know. I don't know, guys.
This on my hair.
She's the best. I tell her she's gorgeous, and she doesn't believe. She's always like, people are looking at me. I'm like, girl, they're looking at you because you're beautiful, and they're like, how the fuck did she get that, girl? And she's like, no, they're judging me. She's the one that has tism. She's the one that has tism. She said she's the mystic, autistic.
Because I'm a bruja.
I have lived many lifetimes. I've done regressive therapy and found about my 4th and 7th lifetimes. That is so fucking awesome. My first memory of me as a kid was when I found out how I looked like in the mirror. Because I did not expect to look like how I did. I thought I was... I honestly think that my past life I was a man. Mírala, eres colombiana. Colombiano. Shakira, Shakira. Do your hips slide?
Mami, pero ¿qué te pasó?
Mami, pero ¿qué tiene? I love accents, honestly. Don't take it wrong. Plantain, I love, like, there's this lady that used to make these burritos with, like, I don't really like egg, but she used to make it really good. And then she would put, like, queso with some beans in there, and then she would toast them. And it was, like, the best food ever.
You tell about your food.
Not these birthing hips. That's what my wife said. She's like, I got birth. What was it?
You told me.
That
you told me I had
childbearing
hips.
Childbearing hips. Where are you guys from? What part of the world are you guys in? My 4th life was in 1656, Boston. Oklahoma. Wow. I've always wanted to... I've never gone past California. And I haven't gone further up than Sedona or Strawberry in Arizona because it's very... I'm Mexican, I'm gay, and I'm a girl. What the fuck? Got the triple threat. But you live in Georgia. Nice. Is it raining? Is it really cold in Oklahoma and Georgia? I drove by Georgia once. I thought it was cool. By Atlanta. I was like, man, where's Eminem? Or, oh no, he's from the Green Mile. No, that's a movie. No, that's a movie. He's from the 8 Mile, right? I don't know where that is. I'm not really good with geography, guys. As you can tell, I was daydreaming in school. I loved school too, but geography wasn't my strongest. I'm not ashamed. I'm not good at math either. I used all my toes to count. Oklahoma's very beautiful. Oh, that is so cool. It's warmed up, but it's going to drop again because of the rain. Wow. Here in Yuma, Arizona, we are by the border of Arizona and California and Sonora, Mexico, and Arizona. We have 2 San Luis. We have San Luis, Mexico, and then we have San Luis in the United States, which is pretty much the same thing because all the Mexicans from San Luis, Mexico live in San Luis, Arizona. So they're pretty much making the same nepotism type of environment in the workplace. And here, it doesn't matter what degree you have. As long as you know people, you got the job.
Let's not. Oh yeah, taste my coffee.
My wife makes the best coffees. It is how many degrees right now, Linda?
It is 62 degrees.
Oh, and it was like, I it's gonna be the highest. It's gonna be 68 today.
Oh boy.
But it's whenever it's like that out here, it starts to get all windy because we're in the desert, you know. And then everybody and their mama have be driving their side by sides in the street. It's like, sir, that is made for the desert. Get out of here with your loud ass side by side and go to the desert and write it where it needs to be written at. So it's not a street bike or side by side. I'm just hating because I want one. Anyone in the live with you? Oh yes, hell yeah! Let me add you. And you know what, guys? If you guys ever want to join me on a live, you let me know, and I will gladly add you and have you join with me. I sent you an invitation. There you go. All right, see you, Rebecca.
Oh, where's my camera? Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm always unprepared. I can hear you.
Okay, so let me figure out how to turn it on. Let's see what's up.
Don't worry.
Okay, don't judge me. Hang on.
It's okay. It's all right. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Yeah.
This is
Hey,
Junie.
how's it going? Oh my God, you got curls too? What's up,
Yeah.
guys?
Say
Hello.
Say hola.
Mira que guau. Oh, I love your eyes. A ver, unos ojitos.
Real cozy. And then this
Oh my
is
God,
that's the Leo. And then this is my
Oh my
Virgo.
Oh my God, que hermosa.
She said, I'm watching Miss Rachel.
Oh,
She said,
that's
don't bother
awesome.
me.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
So let me show you real quick.
This is Pickles.
Ay,
He's
mijo.
pretty much like a kid. He's not a kid, but he acts like one. My
That's
kids are, one of them is in school, and the other one is playing Roblox.
Oh, sorry, I'm gonna put
She's
his
so smart.
his tenders in the microwave real quick. He's starving.
No worries.
But this
He's
is
like, Mama, what are you doing?
for real.
Feed
He saw
me,
me
Mama.
walk into the living room, which is where his sit me up is, where he sits down to eat. So he literally walked in there and he was like, "Okay, it's time." I saw you putting the nuggets.
He's like, Mother, feed me. I am ready. Ooh, nice. Love it. So you have
So
money.
yeah, so this is so when I first started, obviously, okay, so where I grew up, I kind of grew up in a really religious community. Honestly, it kind of sucks because if you have HBO, there's actually a whole documentary on where I lived. It was an actual cult.
What is it called? I probably watched it. I watch a
Um,
lot of documentaries all day long. All day long.
let me see if I can look it up real quick.
But what was the religion, if you don't mind me asking? Guys, I recommend you can probably learn more about the world in documentaries because all those Epstein stuff were already in documentaries about the people that are coming out on the list. We just turn the blind eye to it all the time. And there's a documentary called I Survived a Cult, I think, or something like that. Pickles is really interested in this, guys. He loves being on the lives. That's his like listening face. He likes to be the center of it. He knows I'm talking about him too. But it's really cool, guys. You learn a lot, especially if you're somebody that's coping through like personality issues. You can see what it can lead to when you don't handle that shit. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was trying to look it up. I think it's under people's cult or something like that. It's under the people, the People's Magazine, but it's like under them. And if I can,
You said you were Baptist.
Christian, so it's Christians.
Christian.
If I see the label, I'll know it. But it was like one of the last episodes in that. I think it was in season 2.
Okay.
And if you start it and they start talking about like a church called Miami Revival Center, if they bring up a man called Sam, oh my God, Sam Lee, he was the one who started it. Or no,
Okay, I found it.
Sam Fife.
Okay. Okay, I got you here.
Yeah, so I'm
Step 5, you're right.
yes.
Oh, I might have
So
to check
if you
this out.
watch that,
Thank
that
you.
will literally tell you everything you need to know about like where I grew up, like how, like what type of situation, what they literally indoctrinated us with, and stuff like that. So when you go through that, and it's
Oh man.
definitely warning for PSA for anyone who wants to watch it. It's heavy on both physical, mental, and sexual abuse. Very heavy. So just mindful on that.
Yeah.
I got you, Mark. Sorry, give me 1 second. I didn't expect him to turn up. So can
You're
I
good, Mama. It's
can I
alright.
disconnect and reconnect?
Yeah, I can
I don't
invite
want
you
him
on once you're
yelling.
ready. You let me know. It's okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Alright. No worries. Alright, we'll bring her up right now when she's settled. But you know what, guys? Documentaries are always a way to help. I want to help him pick up the baby. Oh, I know, he's so gorgeous. Did you see him? He has big old eyes and his curly hair. They both have big eyes. I love that. Babies are always like fond of me. They say that. I'm gonna point out to all the haters that said I was bad looking that when babies want you, not want you, but when babies are, oh, he's a little shit. He bites, but he has this like thinking face. He has his paying attention face on. His name is Pickles. He ruins everybody's morning. My 7th life in the 1950s houseman. That is so cool. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Miss Panda, I need to learn about my lives. I feel like I was a man before this. We all wear glasses here too. Yes, honestly, like I gave these a try because I was like, give me some serial killer looking glasses. I wanted the old school ones. I'm really into the 80s, but my face was too small, so I wanted those orange looking ones, you know? The weirder they look, the better. I like the crop tops and the 80s look. I actually am going for a mullet. We lived in Detroit, my son and I were. Oh, how do you feel about knowing about your past lives? Like cop look? Yes. The aviators, or like the ones, the Calvin Klein ones that have like the frame on top, but not on the bottom. I wore those for a while, and then the nerdy ones too, the Ray Bans. Miss Panda, tell me how do you feel after knowing about your past lives? How did you feel different after revisiting that time in your life? Sorry, Pickles is trying to get out of here. Come on, go. I'm really intrigued with past lives because I believe that we are reborn. We reincarnate when we are unaware or unconscious of our true potential. And the moment that we become conscious, that's when that cycle ends. Rebirth is not really a gift, it's a curse. It should be your choice to come back because you want to learn something else or because you want to change something, but not necessarily like, oh, I'm gonna be reborn into I'm a beautiful butterfly. No, because nobody signed up for this mess. I was pushed back. Yes, like nobody said. I was voluntold. Yes, like when God made me, he put a lot of anxiety in there. He's like, I'm gonna add a little bit of spice, a little bit of something nice, and a little bit of anxiety to keep you on your toes. Yes, deja vu is actually a different timeline intersecting with yours right now. Anyone else who'll go through a lot in your... Oh, yes. I almost drowned like 3 times. Nice to meet you, Alice Unmasked. Thank you for joining. I believe in all of this stuff. Everything is intertwined. Your spine is your main core signal antenna. Car crashes, for me, not my fault. I have fast reactions. I've only done that once, and will not. You know what I started reading, that people that are very conscious about their consciousness or about their purpose are afraid of water, because some part of our lives knows that there's something in the water. I mean, why did they stop? Why did they stop freaking investigating the water? Because that's where the aliens are. You know what? The darkness in there. The fact that you don't. One time I was in that banana thing, the bananas, and the banana thing in the ocean, and the one where you go to Mexico and they won't let you investigate. Yeah, and they won't let you talk to dolphins. Here in El Golfo, I don't know if you guys have seen those clams that look like a penis. Yeah, water is a portal, and it's very talked about in Voodooism. How there's like sinkholes, I guess, that there are portals. They look like portals or something like that. It's like a mirror. Mirrors are portals too. That's why you're not supposed to put lights in front of mirrors. But your parents are from Santa Cruz. Okay, so you know about El Golfo, right? In this lifetime, I've died once for 4.5, but not out of body. Dolphins can help so much. Yes, dolphins, their frequencies help with, I was seeing that it help with like seizures and stuff. Yes. Frequencies are everything, guys. Your spine is a antenna. That's why you get those bad vibes. That's why you know when something's wrong. You never talked about dark waters. Grandma was a cliff jumper, but I can't do it. Oh no. And breathing, yes. Very true. I can cliff jump in mountains, but can't anymore. Yes, the dark waters, and you know what's crazy, that they brought out AI just in time when everything is coming out and exposed. Why do you think they don't want you in Antarctica? Because this is a fucking prison and everybody else is happy in Antarctica. Here's my thought. If we are silly enough to think that the World Fair was created with the bare minimum technology, then you're a fool, my love. Look at all the fucking buildings alone. I always had a phobia of things underwater, yes. I had a heart attack in 2017, but I'm not surprised that I didn't have it. That's a version of you that just left, right? So a new one came out after that heart attack. And that's how I see it. Each time my wife says that she feels like she died this one time in an accident that was supposed to happen. Yes. And it freaked you out. Yeah. I think that the only time I had a really experience where I saw my whole life was when I was on shrooms. I had done them a few times, but I hadn't really experienced it. And I wanted to sleep so bad because I don't like not being in control. And that day I walked with God, I swear. I walked with God and everything was like a file cabinet. And he was telling me how I am always selling myself short. And that's probably one of the things that made me change my perspective. Because he's telling me that I was always selling myself short. And he was showing me all the times that I cried myself to sleep. And telling me how I overcame all those times that I didn't believe in myself. And that's fucking awesome. You know, we all do. But we're not as connected with that side of our senses yet. But in my experience, that voice, that presence I was there was bigger than me. And it was like I was being reset. Like at first, everything in my mind was static. And I would just have these like overwhelming deep breaths. Like, you know, when you're crying really hard, but I wasn't crying. And it just felt so peaceful to just be in that position. Like if I was getting a hug from my grandparents. I don't know how to explain it. After that buzzing sound and the static, it was like this big old filing cabinet that just opened up. And then I just started walking, and I'm not even lying. I hate saying this story because it sounds really unreal, but like I just saw everything that was before me. All the things, all the downfalls, all the times that I failed, and the times that I was on top. And how every single time I did it on my own. That I didn't have anybody telling me my future. I didn't have anybody to be I never needed anybody, right? Because I could do it alone. And he pretty much just told me how if I believe in something, to just do it, because this whole time I believed in myself and I overcame everything. And funny enough, my grandparents, both my grandmas passed away. My grandma from my great grandma passed away after my grandma did. And she was a healer, a curandera. I guess you would call it that. She used to help people arrange their. She was like a nurse, but she used to help people in poorer towns to be able to give them like basic care, because a lot of people in Mexico were born in their houses, right? My grandmother was a witch and my mother is a witch. Both. That's fucking awesome. I can feel friends of us. I have a friend that used to tell me about people that I never told her about. That's what I'm saying. Like, I always had people that were near me that had these experiences. One of my customers at work started to tell me about my sister and the issues I was going through with her. And I had never met this lady before. And then she started telling me that I was going to do great things. And I was like, why does everybody see this in me, but I don't feel it? Where are all these great things that I'm going to accomplish? But I realized that all the females in my life have been very hurt and have been silenced and have been suppressed. Now, my great grandma used to help people with their pains, body aches, to help them have kids, to help them heal, set their bones straight. But I always knew that my grandma had some other type of powers because her hands were too healing. One of the things that my great grandma had was confidence. Now, fast forward to when my grandma from my dad's side died. She was very angry at God, and this is a grandma that had that Bible, that has that Bible that didn't burn. But she was angry at God, and I didn't see her before she died. We ended up not in speaking terms. Who have passed, it takes less energy and it's easier for spirit. Yeah. And to communicate through dreams. Yes, I believe that very true. I believe my grandma from my mom's side went happy. Like, she did the things, she cleaned the closet before she left, so she went happy. My great grandma didn't leave. My great grandma also left happy because she traveled the world. She did everything she wanted to do and nothing ever stopped her. She was going up until 90 something. And she passed away basically because they left her to pass away because there was nothing left to do for her. But she lived a good life. My grandma from my dad's side had a lot of heat because her dad was a piece of shit. She wanted a haircut, he shaved her head when she was 16. Both of my grandmas, from both my mom and my dad's side, they knew each other since they were younger. So this is a story that my grandma from my mom's side told me. My great grandma brought pretty much all my aunts and uncles, my dad, to this world, is how she would call it. Yo te traje al mundo, because she was a partera, I guess like a midwife. She would deliver babies at home. Yes, they are. They're from 57, which is close to El Golfo, which I'm going to talk about right now. Sorry, my window's open. But I didn't talk to my grandma from my dad's side before she passed because I was angry at her that they took in my dad's long lost kid and did so much more for him when my mom had to beg for them to know about us, right? As soon as you wake up, messages are easily. Yes, they are. And you know, it's crazy. I dream about the same people all the time. I see a lot of signs and I'm like, oh, connections and shit is fucking crazy. People think I'm crazy, but they're just living in a fucking dream. Anyways, so my mom told me, I was talking to my mom the other day, how the day I was like, you know what, I got this shit. I got on TikTok, and you know how TikTok brings you the random tarot readings, right? I had one that I usually wake up at 4 in the morning. I had one that the girl was like, it's 3 in the morning and I had to wake up and make this video, blah, 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 right? The first video I logged onto, and it was like, this is a message from your grandmas. Your grandparents, your grandma, your both grandmothers that passed away. It was too on point. She started telling me that I'm a badass, that I'm this and that, and it started to sound a lot like my grandma from my dad's side. And I just started crying because I had just written in my journal to them, asking them to guide me and thanking them for giving me their powers. Because my grandma was somebody that had a lot of rage suppressed. And I know that a lot of my powers come from her. My grandma from my mom's side, she was always suppressing it. She could see things, she would dream things. She found out about certain situations from dreams. She found out people that were gonna die from dreams. Literally one day after the next, right? I've always had a feeling of knowing that there's something there but never really seen it. The other day I've been dreaming a lot about people. And I know that it means that they're either trying to communicate or I don't know. Or maybe I had them in mind, I don't know. But it's usually at the same place. It's usually the same buildings. Spirit told me when we were kids. I'm sorry about that. I have because right now she's in this other mind. Now after being sick, but a dream said take your son to. Yeah, if you guys think about it, there's many religions that don't appreciate medicine. But if you guys think about it, God always gives us a sign, right? We always ask for signs in everything we do. What if the person that has the medicine for your pain is the sign? We need to start seeing black and white and start seeing the grays. And I want to ask about, well, actually, I'm gonna bring Rebecca on right now. But I want to say that all of you guys are hitting right on point. Like, I feel like there's a lot of magic that has always followed me. Hecate is one of the examples. I wrote a paper about her because worried about bee cancer again. Yeah, and you know, there's a book called Becoming Supernatural or Superhuman, I think, from Richard Dispenza, and he talks about how frequencies heal you. And the CIA reports talk about this too. Cancer is a state of mind too. It's like you have white cells. Whenever you're miserable, whenever you're in so much stress. Okay, so Richard Dispenza, right? You need to read it. It talks about, yes, and it talks about your white cells going down. It talks about a female that was having all these sicknesses after she was left or her husband died or something like that. And then she cured herself by doing by meditating daily. And this guy, like, when he does his seminars, he measures the frequency in the room when you're trying to meditate, when they start the whole program, and then he measures the frequency in the room after the workshop and how stable it is. Yes, my best friend went to his retreat months ago. Yes, honestly, everything that has stopped us is ourselves. We stop ourselves, guys. It's nobody's fault. It's not the man that didn't pick you. It's not anybody's fault but yourself, because you have a choice. You have a choice of taking what you know you deserve or receiving the crumbs and being okay with it. I don't like crumbs. I've been living off of crumbs my whole life, and you know what? I want the whole fucking cake and I want to eat it too. Exactly, we all need to heal, and we all have the power to do so. Guys, Guabanaba cures cancer. There's a guy in Tijuana, Ensenada, I'm sorry, that sells a milk substance, and I can vouch for this because I've known at least 5 people that have taken this product and have been cured from cancer. And it's from a milk of a plant. And that plant is not legal here. It doesn't grow here. But he sells it internationally. My aunt's mom she was given a month of life because she had stomach cancer. She ended up living 5 more years. It's in Ensenada. It's like moringa. I think it's moringa. I think we do have that here. But it's a guy that makes like this milk substance. He sells it for like $200 for like a 3-month supply. Yes, and that thing cures cancer. And it's all natural, guys. Guabanaba, it's a fruit that you can only get here, I think, in like powder substance. They sell it at Walmart. But guabanaba also cures cancer. Frequencies, your peace cures cancer, guys. Your stress creates your heart issues. Creates all the fucking problems in your life. Let go of shit that's not yours, because you know what? You're not gonna fix it by worrying about it. You're not gonna fix it by crying about it. You're gonna fix it by getting up, dusting yourself off, and saying, I'm a badass bitch. Thank you, God, for making me the baddest bitch alive. I'm a cute little aura. I don't know. I'm just a fucking vibe. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Frequencies, I know that YouTube has them. You know what, guys? If you have Spotify, Apple Music, read something between 437 frequencies. It's 437, and I have it right here. Because I have all my research, guys. Guys, I'm a nerd. Yes. Honestly, like, listen to white noise and try to focus just on that moment of you being present. It's really hard. I still haven't achieved it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but you know what, guys? We're a work in progress. Yes. Sound bowls are the way to go. You should do it, honestly. I haven't tried them, but I figured, like, tattooing. I said I want to get a tattoo, but I don't have money to pay for it, so I'm gonna buy myself a machine and get myself a bunch of tattoos. And that's what I did. I tattooed my legs. The best ones are for meditation. So there's different frequencies, okay? You have the alpha frequency, which is between 8 and 12 hertz, and that's for relaxation and focus. There's a theta, which is 4 and 8 hertz, and that's deep meditation. And then there's the delta between 0.5 and 0.4 hertz, and that's for healing and sleeping. And I'm gonna post that for you guys. And then there's the gamma, which is for peak awareness, which is what you want to, when you're aware of your powers, that's the frequencies you want to meditate, between 30 and 100 hertz. Everything's going to come back to you guys. Money shouldn't hold you back. Money is a fucking material thing that enslaves us. But when you don't chase it, it comes to you naturally. It's weird. Believe me. All right. Where is Rebecca? Come on, invite Rebecca up in here. I want to see those tarot cards. When you don't chase shit, things come to you. All right.
Hey.
Hello.
What's
Ready,
up?
Freddy?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm in the middle of getting dinner together too.
What are we eating today? I want to know what you're cooking, because I'm always like, ooh, that looks good. All right, ¿qué vamos a hacer de comer?
This is like my side, like I'm doing roasted potatoes in the oven, but this is like the main. I'm doing chicken.
What?
It's like okay, I gotta show you the bottle. I don't know if you have Aldi where you're at, and I know it's a wing sauce.
Okay.
This
I'm
is
all about
so
the
good. It's like
Hell
Parmesan
yeah.
garlic, and it's delicious. It's really, really.
I'm gonna have to try that, because even sandwiches that are made by another person are amazing. I think that's my weakness.
No, so
A good meal is my weakness.
Right. I just thought it was really fun that you were saying that, because, or what you were saying earlier about how the things that we fear is mainly the things that we need the most. Like, I think about when I was little, like when you watch the documentary, you'll see like what they were about. But I was a kid who was born very awake. And I would have visions. I would see beings just walking around, interacting with people. I would do what you said. I would be that little girl where if I saw somebody like an ancestor, not even knowing that was like an ancestor or a tia or whoever was around you, I would walk up to you and be like, oh, hey, and I'm like this little 7-year-old, little girl just walking up to people and being like, hey, you have someone looking after you. Or, hey, you, there's something going on. I'm getting chills on my left side.
I love that, yeah.
Like, there's something going on. Like, somebody wants to say hi. Or, like, I'll be the one talking to you. And because of the community that I was brought up in, it was very much, just kind of a brief overview. It was like the church, and they had, like, designated adults who were considered elders in the church. And they were the ones who were the ones you had to go to if you want to get confirmation to do anything. So like in order for us to even leave to go visit like my family, we would have to go to the church and be like, hey, we want to go visit my family, and they would have to pray about it for a couple of days just to even let us know if we could leave. When I had friends that were leaving, who decided to like leave the community altogether, they would tell them like, you're going to hell, like your family is going to be cursed if you leave here, stuff like that, like really horrible shit, like really horrible stuff. And they did like the same thing to us when we went to leave. Like they straight up told my parents, your girls are going to get pregnant. They're not going to do nothing. Like they ain't shit. Like it was bad. Like it was really bad. I was like, why would you say that? I'm like 10. Like why would you say that? Like what's wrong with you?
I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right. Like what are you talking about? But yeah, so it was just like, so for me, I was like that kid who had visions, and I would be very vocal about it. And at first they would be like, they were like, oh, that's cool. And they would accept whenever I would have like a vision for somebody. And then when it was starting to get a little bit too real, and as I got older and it still continued, and the novelty of a little 5-year-old turned into a 7 and an 8-year-old, started making them uncomfortable. So it turned into them being like, well, the next time you have a vision, the next time you have a dream, bring it to one of the elders first, and we'll confirm if it was really from God or if it really was from source or whatnot.
Because you started speaking too much truth.
And then they would share it. So they, like, I was the only one, like everyone else, all the adults in the church, if they had a vision during the church and all that, during the stuff, they would be able to share theirs. But I would have to give mine to somebody first. And then it would be up to the person that I gave it to if they shared it to the church or not. So
I
made a lot of people very uncomfortable, and I think because of that, it definitely ostracized me, and it made me feel uncomfortable with my abilities and with, you know, my dreaming and the things that I would see and the people I would connect with. Like I would have dreams of people that I would meet who I didn't even meet until I came to Georgia. Like I would see things in advance, and like we were talking about deja vu earlier. Yeah, 100%. And deja vu, I would meet people. I would remember meeting people that I would be like, that I would have like in the dream. I remember having like lifetimes with them, and I'd be like, wow, this is really cool. And then I would wake up, and maybe like a year or so later, or 5 years later, I would see them again. And I would be like, damn. And then it would hit me again. I'd be like, I had a dream about you. Like, I dreamt you. Like, I was like, did I make you? Like, did I, like, turn you into reality?
Are you my imagination? Like, are you real?
Yeah, like, it was wild. But it was like, it was wild because I remember going through all that and feeling like there was nobody who understood and nobody willing to, like, understand. And because of that, like my parents were proud of me to an extent until they started getting pulled to the side, being like, I was being talked about. And so out of fear for me and out of fear for, you know, them not wanting to displease the powers to be or whatever, I was silenced. Even to the point where when I was... pretty much even to the point where they kind of prayed to shut me down a little.
Yeah, look, she just said that too.
Yeah, I got prayed to get shut down, and it worked for a little bit. It did. I stopped having dreams, I stopped having the visions, and I went, you know, I conformed to whatever. And then when I moved to Georgia, I was going into 8th grade. And this is like, first of all, culture shock AF, right? Coming from Florida to Georgia. And then on top of that, the community had its own schooling. So there wasn't any public school. We only knew each other, and that was it. And when I came to Georgia, 8th grade, I was thrown into the public school system. And so that was very, very shocking, very overwhelming. That's when I learned
too many things at once.
Yeah. That's when I learned that I was an empath. because when I would walk into a room, I would basically almost buckle.
You absorbed
It
all
was,
that and it tired you and wore you out, huh? You're done.
yeah, yeah, it was awful. So it was like when I got out of that field of
You
where
drunk
we
good in
were
bed, yeah.
raised, and I came to Georgia,
Thank you.
it freed me. It like whatever they had prayed over me to lock me up opened back up, but I was older and there was a lot of things I didn't remember. There was a lot of things that I had chosen to forget. And so when it all came up, it was so overwhelming that the church we were at that time, definitely they weren't, the cult I grew up in and stuff like that, but they understood what I was going through. There was a lady there. I miss her. I just got a wave of her just now. She saved my life because she literally became like my therapist. She was the first person I opened up about my sexual trauma with.
But it's amazing that you were able to. You see, that's somebody that God sent you because you
Yeah,
had
she
to
saved my
face
life,
those
bro.
things.
She was the one I opened up to about, and when my gifts started coming in, um, I was able to identify them for what they were right away, and she saw me for what I was. She knew I was a very spiritual person.
Thank you.
Thank you. And she, with my consent, we also prayed like a locking on it again, but it was with my consent this time because I wasn't ready. And I was still going through therapy at that time with the sexual trauma from my family, that I couldn't handle both at once. I had to handle one or the other, and both was very, very tough. So with my consent, her and I together prayed that, we could lock it into a certain time. We set a time. And I remember in my head seeing like a clock appear above my head, like right above my third eye. And I remember
Uh-huh.
seeing the gate closing, and I remember seeing the numbers. I don't remember them now, but I remember seeing like a clock that had the Roman numerals on it. And I remember the hands
So cool.
shifting like this to close the gate. And I was like, oh, I'm getting crazy chills. I can't believe I remember that. I'm telling you right now,
So
this
awesome.
conversation is pulling stuff up that I do not remember, that I did not remember till just
That's
right
so
now.
awesome.
That's
And you know
crazy.
what?
This is vibrating like crazy.
Everything happens for a reason because nothing is coincidence. I
Yeah.
feel that we all meet each other for perfect timing. But I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, but yeah, that was like, I remember we closed it, and then years later, like this is recently, so that was like back in like maybe 2009. And I didn't really mess with anything after that. I was just kind of on my own. And then more recently, I got pregnant with my son in 2023. But like kind of like right before I got pregnant with him, I started my own personal healing journey. I started journaling. I started doing meditations. I started doing yoga, and that was helping me process a lot of the stuff that I really didn't discuss with anybody about. And oh, sorry.
No, I'm listening. I'm right here.
Okay. And
I was gonna get something while you talked.
and so I, in the middle of doing that, I started getting my dreams back. And to go with what someone was saying earlier, I don't know if someone said Akashic reading. Does anybody know what that is? Akashic readings?
You know, that is the only reason why I got my oracle cards, because of that word, Akashic. Why? Because it resonates with Akasha from Lestat, Queen of the Damned. I was like,
yeah.
Akasha is not
That's so
just a
funny.
fucking made up thing.
That's hilarious.
That's the reason why I got those oracle cards.
So, like, one of my best friends, she had told me, she said, you need to get your Akashic records read. And I was like, I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. I was like, yeah, I'll go for it. She shared with me like a little bit of what hers was and stuff like that. So I had an idea of what I was stepping into, but I had no idea what I was stepping into at the same time. I had no idea what I was stepping into at the same time. That, like, I learned so much in that. I learned about my past. I learned that in every lifetime. So it's so funny that you said earlier that that you know for a fact that you were a man in the past. I learned that I have only been female in all my lives, and in every lifetime, I was meant to represent the feminine energy. Like I was meant to embody the pure feminine energy. And every time, oh crap, the chills. And every timeline I get birthed in is when the need to be reminded of what it is, the purity of feminine energy, of what it is when I'm come.
You can give life. That's the thing. Females are so powerful. They give life. They give everything.
Yeah.
And the thing about being a female is that we take that too personal, because we make it our devotion and we forget about ourselves.
Yeah. That is definitely the truth, for sure.
So when you gave birth, it reminded you of your feminine energy, right?
Yeah. So when I had my son, when I got pregnant with him, that was kind of hard because that literally made me have to go through all of my trauma with men all over again. I had to face that all over again. And even the things that I thought that I had let go of, circled back. And it was like, I think it was like my final test was like, have you truly let this go, because you're about to give birth to a son and I can't put that on him.
Right.
He's coming into this life as a pure, and I have to be able to raise him and not have the fear in the back of my head that he could become a predator.
Right.
Like I have to be able to raise him and not put any of that on him. So I believe that's why I had to face all that all over again with him. And
it's awesome. It's awesome that you can acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And what else? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're fine. And I was just thinking, and then when it came to my daughter, I had to deal with what that meant. Like not allowing fear of what happened to me to suppress her. Because I was that little girl that was very bright, very airy. I danced. I told my husband the other day, I said, I don't remember the last time I danced, even in my own home when nobody was here. And I said, that's something that was robbed of me. And even the simple act of dancing, wearing a dress in my own house is my defiance.
Mm-hmm.
Choosing to wear my dress, choosing to have my hair down, or to clean in a dress, to walk in a dress, to be outside in a dress, is my defiance.
Be comfortable and be uncomfortable.
That's my defiance. Because for so long, it was cover up. Even my weight, as a kid, I was very fluctuating with my weight. And I know for a fact, because I understand it now, that it had everything to do with me wanting to hide. Because when I was seen, I was preyed on.
Right.
And so I don't want that for my daughter. I want my children to... I'm doing this for myself because I'm trying to free myself for them to be able to remember, like, the memories of their mom. I want the memories of their mom to be like, my mom danced in the house. She didn't care.
Exactly.
My mom wore dresses without any type of occasion. She wore dresses because she felt beautiful in them, because she felt like she could. My mom made lotions for us. My mom never bought store-bought lotion. I haven't put any store-bought lotion on my children at all. I hand make everything.
That's awesome.
And
Man,
like
that's freaking awesome.
it's that's what I want them to remember me for. I want them to remember me for not the trauma version of myself, but the self that was stolen from me that I'm gaining back. That's what I want. That's what's in my
And
heart.
that,
That's what's coming forth.
honestly, that's beautiful that you say that, because in our culture, Hispanic culture, it's very common to talk about your parents and do like the remembering and be like,
Mhm.
¿Te acuerdas when my mom used to hit us with the chancla and we would all run?
Right.
And we normalize it, right? We make
Yeah.
it sound funny.
We make it
It's hilarious.
laugh about it, and we're like, no, we were abused. Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. Like there's times that I'm watching documentaries and I'm like, holy shit, like I was suffering child abuse and I had no
Right.
idea. And it's like, what the fuck? Like I didn't know
Don't
this.
even bring up the emotional abuse because that wasn't a thing. That was not a thing. What are you talking about?
You feel depressed, it's because you're on your phone all day. Ponte a limpiar and you're gonna be alright.
Right.
And all
right.
the comments that I've been seeing like are totally 100% on point. It's gonna be a long winter, Max. That's what I say whenever I don't shave every day. But honestly, guys, it's so true what she's saying. That's the whole purpose. That's what you should take. Simply her experience. It's beautiful that you appreciate yourself that way, because that's how I see it. That's how I would have wanted my mom, and that's how I saw my mom the second that she left. And many times we are so blinded by our immediate issues that we don't think about how it's going to affect everybody around us in the long run. And I'm going to tell you guys a story about my wife and I. My wife and I met when I was 17. My wife is a year and a half older than me, I think. She was 19. And I was actually dating her sister-in-law, because my wife has 3 kids. She already had her oldest at that time, who is the niece of my ex-girlfriend, right? I met her, and mind you, my wife was in an abusive relationship. This guy would beat her all the time in front of her kid. It was just insane. And everybody around them knew that he would beat her. And I remember asking my ex, I was like, but you're telling me that she gets beat every day and you guys don't do anything about it? I was like flabbergasted, because this would happen in the living room while people were in the bedroom and nobody would come out to say something. And I always carried that with me, you know? And I never forgot her. Like, it was like, man, I wish she was my wife or my girl and I would take care of her, you know? And I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't do the best at that either, because I'm a human. I fail a lot and I'm still growing and I still learn. But being with her is what made me want to be a better person, because I caught myself doing things around the kids that my dad used to do, like bothering Avery all day long just to piss her off. And I was like, I don't want to be my dad. Like, that's the one thing I hated. So I had to figure out what I needed or what I wanted at that time when I was a kid, and started practicing with them. I started giving them the explanations I never got, or the reasoning I never got. And I can tell you that my daughter, well, she's my daughter now, Avery, she's 9 years old, and she came here from like crying for everything, didn't listen for shit. They disrespected their mom left and right, and now she craves it. She craves I'm gonna tell you right now, a kid with ADHD craves structure.
Yeah.
We need somebody to tell us, you got to do this, because we feel important, we feel seen. My daughter has autism, the youngest, and she yells for everything. She does not say I want, she cries. So I have to stop, and this is something that is weird because she only handles herself with me, you know? So I'll stand at her eye level and I'll tell her like, hey mama, what hurts? Are you okay? Why are you crying? Because if nothing hurts and nobody did anything to you, then you don't need to be crying. You can use your words and tell me what's wrong. She blew my mind when she's like, okay, I'm going to calm down. 1, 2. And she started doing her breathing exercises. And I'm over here like, where did you learn this, Frida? You know? She blows my mind every day. She likes being alone. She's too smart for this world. I feel like she already knows how to read and whatnot. She loves everything. And I feel like autistic people are super smart people. Too smart to have to socialize with people because they can get anything done if they set their mind to. So my wife, knows so much about medication and what works for what and what diagnosis you're going to get before you go to the doctor. And she's like a healing person. Long story short about my wife, we met that time. Then I saw I always knew about her life, but I never interacted with her outside of that event. She said we met another time because we always had mutual friends, but we never hung out after that. We never saw each other again. Except I always remember that her daughter's name was Alice because she liked Alice in Wonderland. Her name was Linda, and she's gorgeous, and this guy treated her like shit. That's all I would remember. And she was even around during one of my worst relationships because she worked with the person I was with. Post about my asking journey. Well, you know what, Alice? My wife is going to start talking about her diagnosis because she didn't get diagnosed until later on. When did you beat him up? Actually, I undermined her current baby daddy because he took away the kids for like a month from her. All because they had already been done and she was moving out. She never cheated on him. She's very loyal. She did everything the right way. But he was upset because this was the second girl that turned lesbian on him. You know what? Maybe that's a you problem. Long story short is, I'm always told by these people that can see for my future who I'm going to meet, right? My best friend used to see my dead relatives, and the night before one of my aunts passed away, she said there was a whole party in my house, and that there was this one grandma or great-grandma that was looking at me with so much love, that she loved my mom a lot. The guy that she was traveling with looked like my brother. This was like my great-grandma from my dad's side, somebody that I had never talked to her, she had never even seen in her life, and she described every detail with specific details. And she was able to point her out from a picture book. And then, at my job, that lady that told me about my sister told me that I was actually going through a breakup through that time, and she said, this kid you're not going to end up with this person, you're going to meet somebody that's older than you. She loves coffee. And she's going to love you so much, and you're going to be very happy. And your kid is going to be born this year. Well, when I met her, Frida was a year old. And she's probably the one that's most like me. But ironically, we started talking on a random January. All because we both had the same lighter. And she was drinking coffee. And next thing you know, this was on a Saturday morning. And she invited me in less than an hour. She never even talked to me in her whole life. But she had the same thoughts that I did, that she was always intrigued by me. We ended up meeting. I didn't go there with any mentality of anything. She didn't meet me with that idea either. But we somehow knew each other very well, and it just felt right. And we both had the same idea that we either were meant to, I'm her karmic. We're like mirrors. We somewhat can dream the same things. I dream continuations of her dreams, or I dream of being in certain places where she was at. She's more in tune with her spiritual side. She's like a healer. She knows all the remedies in the world. Trying to type. Honestly, Mountain Misfit, I envy you right now because I wish I was there. Damn, she's like my twin flame, yeah. And in all honesty, I'm learning so much from her. Yes, I love Yosemite. Yosemite is my go-to place. I would live there if I could. I honestly wanted to go camp there. I guess you have to register. I used to live in Fresno, or Layton, California. And that's really close, and that's the best road, That's honestly, Yosemite is the most in tune place that I can find, and the closest place to mossy forest. But yeah. But it's crazy, you're always going to be in touch with somebody. At some point, some guy wanted to pull me to dark magic to learn about how to work with magic. And I always have people that come to me that have this sixth sense. So I feel all of us meeting today, I only planned to do this for an hour, and we're going on the third hour almost. But I think everything happens for a reason. And I think that the people that I've been encountering here are because I'm finally more confident in myself that I'm doing something that's benefiting people. Because thank you, Alice. You have a great night and be safe, please. Take care of yourself and pick one thing you want to do. I figured that doing this was something that I needed at some point, because I felt lost too. I felt like nobody understood, and people would tell me right up, like straight up, like, you're just too much, or you're crazy, or I don't feel like you watch too many conspiracy theories. Everything that's happening right now, I said it, and I would want to go back to my job and be like, hey, I told you so, because I love saying I told you so. But I'm glad that it didn't. I'm glad that it didn't make you a bad person, because a lot of people can turn those things and turn them into hate. A lot of people that commit murders are undiagnosed problems. A lot of people that are going through addictions are people that didn't get the proper medication dose for their neurodivergency. If you think about it, a lot of men thrive in the prison system because they're getting the medication that they need, and then they're thrown out into the public without any. Let me take. Do you want me to take you off here? Okay, let me take you off. Sorry. Thank you so much for sharing. But a lot of people are thrown into the system, or out of the system, back into the world without that medication. And what do? They end up looking for it. And what happens when you get people stay in that state of mind because they don't have the proper dosage. So yes, Adderall is literally methamphetamine. You can go into an Adderall psychosis if you're not taking your proper dosage, as well as Vyvanse. And no, you're good, girl. Like, thank you so much for sharing. I hope I see more of you, honestly. And I think I think it's crazy how people don't acknowledge mental health. And the moment you go into the system, you lose all credibility. I had a friend tell me about his situation with the system, where he's very aware of himself. He's so aware that he knows how they try to wordplay him in order to keep him. Yes, we should totally do that. What about Addy psychosis? Addy psychosis happens when you're taking... Okay, what happens when you don't take your medication one day? You don't feel it. 2 days, you start getting the night sweats, right? 3 days, you start getting very vivid dreams, extreme night sweats, and you're being irritable, right? If I already take the highest dose of Vyvanse, for example, Vyvanse is a combination. Vyvanse is probably the way to go. Why? Because it's a 24-hour effect. And Adderall is legit like street drugs. It's like crack. I mean, Adderall only gives you strength or functionality for a certain amount of hours before you have to take another dose. And most people misuse it of that. Why? Because when you have anxiety and ADHD, you feel like you know you have to do something, but you don't know how to start, right? So when you take that Adderall, that second Adderall of the day, your mind is working and you're getting shit done and you feel like you're on a roll. But then you run out too fast because you're not taking the proper medication dosage for that day. So one day you take 3, one day you take 2, one day you take 1, and then you start listening. And this is because I heard about this happening to a friend. But you start hearing the buzzing on the fucking outlets. Or upload, don't eat, yeah? You start hearing the buzzing on outlets and you start thinking that people are whispering in your ear. You start feeling like you're being observed. Like somebody's trying... You start going into this state of being prosecuted. And it's psychosis. Look it up, guys. And I take Vyvanse and I take venlafaxine. Vyvanse is a mood. It's like for your ADHD, buzzing. Yes, buzzing in the outlets. Yeah, and you think everybody's talking shit about you. My friend messaged me out of the blue and told me, "Oh, I heard your people, you freaking inbred bitch." When I started doing these lives, and I didn't realize that she was my biggest hater, and she's supposed to be my best friend. And she's a very powerful person, so I can see why I failed so many times. But I'm way more powerful than her because I got way more protection than her. But if you guys can see and you have that sixth sense, embrace it, feed it. Sometimes you find it when you're in a high state of mind. That doesn't mean that you need to be on drugs to do it. That means that you need to ground yourself and calm yourself. Slow down a little bit. Take your time because you're never going to relive today. You're never going to have another chance to live the moment that you're in right now. Yes, and you know, just like Rebecca is doing, she wants her kids to have a great memory of her. And that's how we should all be living. You shouldn't. I feel so guilty when I don't have the strength to get up in the morning to go take the kids to school and my wife goes. Because you know what? I want my kids that if my wife and I were to ever separate, because obviously they're not mine. They have their dad. He's a piece of shit, but they have their dad. But I know that they're learning structure from me. They're learning independence, responsibility. And if I'm ever gone, I want them to remember, damn, Mom, remember you had Rocio, you dated Rocio, and Rocio was over here listening to her old music and shit. Thank you so much for the dolphin, Max. And Rocio used to listen to this old Mexican music in the car. Man, it was badass. Because believe it or not, Frida loves being in the car. And she likes listening, vibing to music. I got her a little drum set, and she's a little drummer. I don't know where she's getting it from, because I don't drum. I don't have a beat for shit. But autistic people are amazing people. They're so smart, and I envy their smartness, their intelligence, smartness. Because they know everything without even knowing. They're too conscious, and they cannot be bullshitted. And I remember one time, I'm never going to forget this, but I was always out there. I remember one time my mom invited, we used to live in Riverside, or Bullhead City. And you know how it's like trailer town there? Or double wide town? So anyways, my grandma had this like big double wide, right? And they were in the back door. My mom was going to go to the casinos with my dad because regardless, my mom and my dad would spend a lot of time by themselves. So I give my mom that for enjoying her marriage or the little good times that she had, you know? And she invited my aunt. My aunt couldn't go play the casinos, so my aunt asked my grandma, hey, I sent my notifications for you. Yeah, hell yeah. And I'm going to be going live twice on TikTok and then probably on Instagram or YouTube. My ADHD is all over the place, but I have so many plans. I want to do a podcast, and hopefully I get a good community to help you guys, to have you guys share your story, because you know what? I'm tired of seeing famous people tell me their story. I don't care about that shit. I want to know the struggle that we're going through right now and how you face the real struggle, because you can relate more with your neighbor. You have more in common with your neighbor than you do with the fucking singer you're following 24/7. That's for sure. But I remember my grandma was like, no, you can't go. So when my mom left, she was like, I see. Sylvia, do you think Rosa wants to take you? My brothers, we all start with the R. So do you think Rosa wants to take you? And then my aunt was like, well, she invited me. And she's like, I see. What did she say? Sylvia, do you want to go? Me. She didn't even want you to go. And I was right there. And I was like, oof, don't be fucking mimicking my mama. So when my mama got home, oh, hell yeah. I'm going to sign you up, Rebecca. Honestly, I'm keeping track of all the people that I'm starting to talk to during this beginning journey, because we're going to do something together. And there's a reason why I'm connecting with you guys and why we have so much in common. So I got you guys. So when my mom got home, I was like, Mama, guess what? Guess what happened? I was like, my grandma said this. And I was like, she said, uy, si La Rosa didn't want to take you. And then she totally mimicked you. And then my dad walked in. I got to say this. That's the part that I saw that's the only good memory probably I had of my dad, because he stood by me. And I feel like even in my hardest times, he did stand by me. When I got arrested and whatnot, he was like so worried about me. He was ready to kill people for me. But that day, like, he heard me tell my mom, and he came into the room, and my dad's a fucking extra guy. He likes to use his voice to intimidate. I forget he's dead. He used to like to use his voice. Hell yeah, Max, we should. Honestly, I'm all down for it. My dad said, what happened? What did Rocio say? And then my mom was like, no, nothing. I was like, my grandma, when you guys left, my grandma said, ay, si La Rosa no te quiere llevar, baby. And then she totally mimicked my mama. And then my dad was like, what? And then he's like, come here. And he takes me in front of my grandma. And then he's like, Ama, what did you say about my wife? Mija, what did your grandma say about your mom? I was like, Grandma, you said, La Rosa ni te quiso llevar, ni me. And I saw you, Grandma, because you said it. And I got mad because you can't be mimicking my mom. My mama doesn't even talk like you. And then my dad was like, I don't want to hear you say any shit about my wife ever again. Mind you, we were living at my grandparents' house. And my mom was so embarrassed because my mom was going to stay quiet. No. Why the fuck do you think it's okay to talk about your grandkid's mom in front of your grandkids? Shame on you. You're the adult here. How is it that I recognized that shit at 7 years old and you didn't? So that was the day that I was like, you know what, guys? God sent me to piss the world off. Hi, my name is what? what is it? Hey, Shady, that's my girl. I don't give a fuck. God sent me to piss the world off. Something like that. And you know what, guys? I love you guys. I really enjoyed this conversation. I will see you guys a little bit later. I forgot I have to do stuff around the house apparently. What? I thought that things got done by themselves. Here I am thinking I'm so powerful that I thought chores were gonna get done on their own. Almost, guys. But I appreciate you guys spending time here with me. Anytime you guys need to chat, anytime you have something you want to share, like, you send me a message. And let you, Rebecca, you tell me, you know what, Rocio, this day, you see Rebecca, Rocio, Mountain Misfit, what is your first name? You start with the R too? Don't tell me you start with the R. You look like a Shane, a Renee. No, I'm so glad you guys showed up, honestly. I'm so glad I stayed this long. I'm so glad I continued to push through because this is why I do it, for you guys. Irene, come on, Irene. You see, I got a song for everybody. Alicia Keys. Alicia. Alice in Chains? You're not gonna be Alice in Chains anymore, Alice, because we're gonna transformate you. Alicia. Oh, Alicia. Oh, Alicia. Well, you can call me Rocio, Chio, whatever y'all want. That was, you see? Too much of a coincidence, guys. I'll see you guys this evening. I love you guys. Please pick something that you're going to work on and we'll talk about it tonight. Because I really want to know what you guys... I really want to see what you guys are trying. And if you guys are taking anything from all the stuff I'm telling you guys. Because I just want you guys to try one little thing. Whether it's dumping all your stuff in a notebook and throwing it out, burning it, keeping it, continue writing. Whether it's you picking yourself for 5 minutes in the morning. You saying no to one thing. I don't care what it is. There is no greater or smaller thing that you can pick that is not going to be enough. The fact that you're doing something, that you're moving and you're not, why leave for tomorrow what you can do today? You can either have 7 days missed, 7 days that you're behind, or 7 days that you completed small things and got ahead. Think about it. Baby steps, guys. And it's okay. It's okay if you fall, because I got you, boo-boo. I got you, baby bird. I'll feed you. You guys be safe. Have a great afternoon. I'll see you guys later. If you guys haven't, go get something to eat, guys. Please. Y'all need to get your strength. Stay hydrated. I need to go get some water because my lips are dry. This medication is making my mouth all dry and shit. Thank you so much for being here with me. I love you guys. Be safe. Send me a message on what you guys want to talk about later. And stay warm, Miss Alize, Miss Common Irene, because you're living the dream right now. You don't even know it. I'll see you guys later.